We are just minutes away from kickoff for the day of state champions being crowned down in Normal, Illinois at Hancock Stadium. Here to get you set for a beautiful day of football alongside edgy Tim O'Halloran. I'm Marshall Harris here in our IHSA Network Television studios. We start with 1A. It's Althoff Catholic taking on Lena-Winslow. Should be a good win. Really looking forward to this one. Two contrasting styles of football. Lena, ground and pound. Althoff, explosive as explosive can be. Going to be a lot of fun. All right, we got you for 4 games today. It all starts down in Normal. Let's head down to Sam and Jack, who get you set with game number 1 on a quadruple header.
Thanks, Marshall. Thanks, Edgy. It's a windy, wickedly cold day here in Normal, Illinois, and about to get set for the Class 1A state title game. You set the scene for us. Althoff Catholic and Lena-Winslow alongside Jack McInerney. I'm Sam Brief here in Normal. And Jack, this is one matchup between absolute offensive powerhouses.
Well, not only powerhouses, but a real conflict. You're talking about 2 teams that run exactly the same different type of offense. One is balanced, throws, and loves to pass the ball. The other one does nothing but run the football. So we're looking at 2 contrasting teams, but they're both very exciting. Well, let's get right into the one that's a little more balanced, right? That feature an Oregon commit in Dier Hill Jr., 10 in white, who's as good as it gets. And Althoff comes in, Jack, 13-0, almost 50 points a game. Here's the road, how they got here. How about 60, 43, 54, 58 points? Maybe we see one of those today for Althoff Catholic. Well, they need to be tested. And they will be facing a team that runs the ball 20 times for every 1 pass. Lena-Winslow, an absolute powerhouse in 1A Illinois football, back-to-back-to-back championships. But then they lost in the state final last year. They're out for redemption this season, and here's their path. Well, the thing is, they don't get much of a challenge coming into this ball game. They're going to have a challenge today, but before they got here, there wasn't much. We'll see how they react to that. A big-time challenge in teams that are combined 26-0 heading into Normal. The Class 1A Illinois State Championships are coming up next from windy and snowy Normal, Illinois.
The IHSA Football State Championships are brought to you in part by Country Financial. Worry less and feel more confident with insurance designed to meet your specific needs. Visit countryfinancial.com to experience more today.
Coughing and throat feeling sore? We've got medication to get you out the door. Earache, pink eye, bug bite, or rash? Our wonderful staff will treat you in a flash.
What about sprains, strains, and minor fractures too?
Don't worry, our x-rays reveal what's hidden from view. Need care after 9, 10, or 11? Our virtual care's got you 24/7. OSF on-call urgent care, in person or virtual, we're always there.
Every year, the Wiffles family celebrates the season the best way they know how. And every year, they add a little something new. After all this time, you'd think all that extra work put into every last detail would get old. Well, think again. Wiffles Hybrids. Season's greetings from our U.S. farm family to yours.
Home is more than a place. It's full of the people and moments that matter most. Providing for loved ones, expanding your horizons, or simply living the life you love. With all you have to protect, choose insurance you can count on so you can experience more of what you live for. Country Financial. Experience more.
We're going to need more fuel. A renewable way to get that fuel instead of relying on foreign countries for petroleum, we can just grow our own fuel. Our fields are literally full of energy.
bundled up and ready to let it rock for the Class 1A state championship game. And now let's send it down to the third member of our crew, Casey Standahar, also bundled and with some insight on both squads.
Sam, I am bundled up and it is cold. The snow is coming down. Something that these two teams have in common is that they both know what it's like to lose to Camp Point Central and then claw their way back to the state finals. Lena-Winslow looking to avenge their loss from last season, while Althoff Catholic head coach Austin Frazier said he would love to win in front of his former head coach Glenn Schott, who led this team to state titles in 1980, 89, and 90. Coach Frazier said, "I'd love for him to see us do that. He laid the foundation for the success of this program." This season, Coach Frazier tells his team to stack their brick and add to that story, that mantra, truly an homage to Coach Glenn Schott. So Sam, Jack, we'll see if the Crusaders can finish what they started building 44 years ago.
Thank you, Casey. And indeed, this was a powerhouse. State titles in 1980, 89, and 90. But it's been 34 years since Althoff Catholic fielded a state champion team. And now they're just a little bit away from that elusive state title with one of their most explosive teams ever.
Well, Glenn Schott during those days was a legend among the high school football coaches in Illinois. He would speak at clinics and talk about all the success that they had. He was just an outstanding football coach.
Stephen Brown and Dier Hill Jr. are back. We'll be saying Hill's name a ton today. He's a four-star recruit headed to Oregon and now underway in the Class 1A state title game, but a whistle on the kickoff. And now we'll await word from our officiating crew, which is led today by head ref Mark DiMarzio. Looks like a re-kick coming for Lena-Winslow. Good look there at their 28-year head coach, Rick Aaron.
You know, interesting enough, Sam, you want to make sure that you don't kick the ball to DeAndre Hill. You don't want to start off the ball game with poor field position.
So another little pooch, and at the 32, this one is fielded by Cooper Zimmer, and after a lateral taken down at the 32. So decent, not horrible starting field position for this powerful Althoff offense. And today's starting lineups are presented by OSF. Jack, this is a machine. 53 points a game for Althoff.
Well, it is amazing. They have great balance throwing the ball and running the football, but they like to run it a little more than they throw it, but they can throw it so effectively because they have excellent play action off of their run game.
And it's behind these big offensive linemen. I mean, you're not going to rack up almost 300 rushing yards per game without these big boys up front.
Well, the statistic that it's amazing is that front five averages 299 pounds.
That's a lot of Thanksgiving turkey as Hill is stuffed 3 yards shy of the line of scrimmage. Dunker on the tackle. And that's a tremendous start for the Panthers.
Well, that's what you want to do on first down. You want to make sure that you have good penetration, which they did, and they're coming off the edges to close it down with good angles. And that's a great shot from the end zone. You can see everything developing.
The quarterback, Jaden Ellington, just a sophomore, already with an offer from Miami of Ohio. And here's his running back, Hill, motoring through to the 42, right on that first down marker. I think he might be a foot shy of it, though, as you see your first explosive play for Hill.
Good job by Hill, but also a good job on the left side of that line by Davis and Rogers, opening up that hole for him.
3rd and 1. Hill powering through over the left end, and he has broken through like daylight. One more cut, no one else to beat. Touchdown, Althoff Catholic.
Amazing run to start out in the first series for Althoff. You talked about explosive offense. In the playoffs, they've averaged 53 points a game. And in a regular season, 9 games, they averaged 49. So this was a heck of a start in the state playoff game.
A 69-yard scamper and score for the Oregon-bound Hill Jr. Take me through this one.
Well, you can see the quickness that he has. A good job by the offensive left side of the line, but you can see the moves he has downfield. Oregon's got a good one, and it's interesting that they come this far east to get a running back, but you can see why. They're going to take him out west so he can score.
freshman Austin Wilkinson. His 71st successful PAT on the season. And the story of this game might end up being Dierre Hill Jr. He has started us with a bang. 69 yards to the house on 3rd and short. This is what Hill can do.
Well, he's running off that left side where the two linemen, the left tackle's 320 and the left guard is 330, so they overpowered the defensive front of Lena. And, of course, with his running style, he gets out in the open. Forget about it.
So now Rick Arend and Lena, they got to figure this out, because we know, Jack, they can keep the ball, they can run the ball, but they got to keep this Althoff offense off the field. And so far, rough.
Well, the other part of it is they want to control the clock, and they want to control those chains and control the possessions. And that's why Althoff took the ball. Even though they won the toss, they took the ball right away because they wanted to make sure that they had some offense to run, because Lena doesn't give up the ball that often.
56 seconds for Althoff Catholic to put 7 points on the board. That's how you rack up 50, almost 60 points a game like they did this year. 13-0 record to show for it, as Wilkinson goes with a pooch kick and a fair catch at the 34.
He should get a flag there, because he waved for a fair catch and they hit him. Yep.
So that should move Lena-Winslow up quite a bit. Our first flag of the day.
Sometimes these young players forget the rules, especially in a state playoff game, the state championship game, where they're kind of hyped right in the beginning. But when you call for a fair catch on the kickoff, it's just like calling for a fair catch on a punt.
Mark DiMarzio all bundled
First
up.
Foul against the kicking team. 15-yard penalty. We'll start with the first down.
So there you have it. Free 15 yards for Lena-Winslow. And on that note, Jack, the adrenaline, right? State title game, the biggest game many of these young men will ever play. It's easy to let your emotions carry you away.
And the memories are going to last a lifetime. They're not going to last for a week or a month. They're going to last for a lifetime.
1st and 10 from the 49. 5'10" junior Cash Lessman, the starting quarterback for a Lena-Winslow team that almost never passes. Only 23 pass attempts all season. Fewer than 2 a game. And, of course, they start with a run. It goes for a yard across the 50. Let's meet today's Lena-Winslow starting lineup, which is presented by OSF. And we'll start with the skill guys. And it features a 2-headed monster in the run game. That's Aiden Wild and Alex Schlichten.
They're good, really good high school football players. And that's why Lena's been so successful.
Almost 400 rushing yards per game behind this offensive line. And there goes Schlichting down the left side. Alex Schlichting across the 25. And now the Panthers are starting to sizzle.
And this is what they need to do. This first possession, I know it's really early. Of course it's early. It's the first possession. But they need to get their confidence after that first score. Look at the speed that he has.
This is 24 yards for Schlichting.
It's a good start for them. The penalty didn't hurt getting that field position, but you can see the speed that he has.
Well, Lena-Winslow reminding us, yeah, Althoff can score in a hurry, but so can we. A penalty, a big rush, and suddenly knocking on the door of the red zone. This is the fullback Wild as a flag is thrown. Came from the far side judge. You'll see a lot of 85 and 43 in black. That's Wild and Schlichting. Sort of a lightning and thunder duo in the backfield. Down to the field.
Dead ball foul. False start.
So false start on Lena-Winslow will set him back a bit. 1st and 15 coming up next as the Althoff Catholic defense is presented by OSF. We'll take a look in a moment as their job is a tall task today. Here's Aiden Wild, the fullback, powering through down the left side and near the 5. If Schlichting is the lightning, this man is the thunder.
And that's actually what they did the play before on the penalty. They ran the fullback, and that's what they want to do. They want to make sure that people don't get to the edges to worry about Schlichter. They want to make sure that they pound it up inside between the tackles.
So 17-yard run sets up 1st and 10 at the 14, and Althoff Catholic, it's interesting. This defensive starting lineup knows they're going to run the ball almost every time, so have to avoid being lulled into a pattern as Schlichting is rocked in the backfield. Jason Dowell in on the tackle, the Missouri-bound defensive end.
When you talk about game plans for teams like this, you talk about the line of scrimmage. Let's watch it right here. They run a trap, but you can see the penetration by number 25 coming up inside. Asher Peterson penetrated behind the pulling guard. They wanted to run a trap, but this is what you got to watch. You got to watch for penetration by that defensive line. These kind of games come down to the line of scrimmage. We talk about the skilled players. We talk about them all the time. But we rarely talk about the linemen, and they're really the guys that win ball games.
So let's focus in on the line as here's a Lena-Winslow throw, and it's picked off on the edge of the end zone. Lorne Green motoring through to the 20. It's a pick and a return on a very rare Panther throw.
Well, they wanted to catch him off balance, and you can see right there they considered the fact of what they needed to get. Just the ball underthrown. Good job by the safety. It's just like a punt. It's not going to kill Lena-Winslow, but they sure could have kept that drive going.
But they throw it only once a game on average. One throw, one interception so far. And Althoff Catholic feeling good early here in Normal.
All right, let's go. I'll shop for the kids, and you get something for the dog.
Sounds good. Let's do this.
Whether you're shopping for gifts or something for yourself.
Don't forget toys for the dog.
Rush in for Black Friday deals at Menards that everyone will love. Because when they're gone, they're gone.
Save big money at Menards.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
The IHSA Football State Championships are brought to you in part by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. And by SIU Carbondale. Imagine the possibilities.
State title game and our keys to the game are brought to you by Southern Illinois University Carbondale. Imagine the possibilities. Educate me, Jack.
Well, Althoff, as we mentioned, they wanted them to throw the football. You could see what happened when they did. They picked it off right at the goal line. The other thing is they want to make sure that they don't allow them long drives. And, of course, Lena, they've got to control the line of scrimmage. That's what they have to do with their run game. Move those chains, control that clock, and get great field position.
We saw them start to do that, but then an interception thrown by the quarterback, Cash Leishman, picked off by Lorne Green, his second of the season, and now it's 1st and 10 for Althoff at their own 20. We spoke with the 28-year Lena-Winslow head coach Rick Aaron. He told us, we throw the ball a lot in practice, almost joking as there's some action at the line of scrimmage, a flag thrown right around the 25.
And it's probably as often as they punt. They don't punt that often either.
No.
They usually go for it on 3rd and 4th down.
5-yard penalty.
False start for Althoff will set him back. Right, only 5 punts all season for Lena-Winslow. So you barely punt, you barely throw. Were you surprised to see a red zone pass attempt?
Yeah, it was, because I really think what in his mind he thought, this is a perfect opportunity to play action because we ran the ball down there. Let's catch them off balance. They won't be ready, but they were. And one of the reasons is because the field is so condensed, you don't have to worry about a deep throw.
And on a day like this, 25-mile-per-hour wind, feels like temperature of 4 degrees. I wouldn't want to throw down there.
Well, it wasn't a long throw. You know, it really wasn't. It was probably about a 15-yard throw, which is well within the weather conditions.
And out of the gun, more movement. I think by a white shirt. Might set him back to 1st and 20. Here's the call down on the field.
So third penalty already.
False start on the offense.
Wow.
5-yard penalty.
So dynamic start for Althoff with the 70-yard D'Air Hill touchdown, the interception, but 3 penalties.
Well, long yardage really doesn't scare them because they're a big play team. But especially down here, you don't want that. In the middle of the field or down in the red zone area, that's okay, but not from here.
So first and 20 from the 10 as Hill powers through a spin, and then he just keeps those legs moving to the 21-yard line. Looked like they had Hill wrapped up. And now let's meet the guys trying to get him down on the ground. Lena-Winslow starting defense is presented by OSF, and got their hands full today.
They do. Through their entire 13 games, they've only allowed 14 points a game on the average, and so that's pretty darn good. Neither team has really been tested as far as competition.
Hill, now over 80 yards, stretches to the 25. The average margin of victory is 40 points for Althoff, nearly 30 for Lena-Winslow. For both sides, this is their first true major test, and fittingly, it comes in the state title game.
Well, we're looking at a combination of 26 wins right down there on the field.
And no losses. Ellington will keep it himself, and a spin, eludes one tackler, eludes another, and now a pack of Panthers brings him down, and Althoff might have to give it up after those penalties.
Good job right there by the Lena defense. Good pursuit, good gang tackling, follow the ball. Good job right here. Just you can see the linebackers slowing them down till the other linebackers get there. You can see all the black jerseys, black helmets getting on the scene of the action.
Preston Schultz, the one to finally bring him down in the middle of that mess. And Althoff will punt it. We've already met Austin Wilkinson, the freshman, serves as the punter and the kicker. When you score 53 points a game, you don't punt much.
He's liable to get a hamstring pull here.
A pretty good kick. Bounces at the 42, and then an Althoff friendly roll down to the 30-yard line. And those guys willing the ball to move just a couple extra inches. Electric start, Class 1A, state title game in the flurries here in Normal.
Home is more than a place. It's full of the people and moments that matter most. Providing for loved ones, expanding your horizons, or simply living the life you love. With all you have to protect, choose insurance you can count on, so you can experience more of what you live for. Country Financial. Experience more.
Every year, the Wiffles family celebrates the season the best way they know how. And every year, they add a little something new. After all this time, you'd think all that extra work put into every last detail would get old. Well, think again. Wiffles Hybrids. Season's greetings from our U.S. farm family to yours.
Althoff Catholic on top of Lena-Winslow as we continue in the Class 1A state title game, and it feels like 4 degrees down there, so in between plays you must stay warm, especially with an offense like Althoff's.
Well, the other part of that is Althoff really only has one player that goes both ways. So what happens is basically when they platoon, if that defense is sitting on the bench all that time, especially in this kind of weather, they get out there, you know, it's not like a normal day. So in a sense, it's a little disadvantage almost to have a platoon situation in weather like this.
You get much bigger teams later in the day and tomorrow with Class 5 through 8. And Rick Aaron, hey, he has been here before many, many times. Aaron, 260 wins. He's a 6-time state champion with only 1 loss in the title game. It was right here last year.
So he's been here. I mean, they have a routine that they go through, and that's very important when you're talking about 16, 17, 18-year-old young men, to get them into a routine. Even though this is the big title game, they want to make sure that they realize it's a football game.
Austin Frazier is an Althoff Catholic alum, 2004 graduate. He was a 3-year starter, inherited a 3-6 team. Now he has them 13-0, and just a few quarters away from their first state title since 1989. The Lena-Winslow rushing attack back in action as Schlichting goes across the 31. Brought down by a couple of Crusaders, including Charleston Colden.
Now, when you look at the defense, you'll see 11 players inside 6 to 7 yards. I mean, they really pack it because they realize that Lena normally does not throw the ball. Now, they threw it, obviously, for that first turnover. But, you know, they're a team that just wants to run the football down your throat. And so the Panthers of, the Crusaders of Althoff are saying, okay, we're going to force you to throw the football. That's kind of a game plan.
Trying to sort of sucker you into that. Here's a 2nd and 9, and the handoff goes to Wild this time. Dives across to the 37. I mean, the numbers are astounding. An average game for Lena-Winslow, 36 rushing attempts and only 1 pass completion.
Well, you know, that's that offensive line. Now, in comparison to Althoff, their offensive line only averages, and I say only averages, 220 pounds, but they're very effective. They run this offense all the way into their youth program. So these kids know this. They're very comfortable with this offense. And the misdirection is what hurts a defense. It's not so much that they can't run the football or throw it. Misdirection is tough for the secondary and the linebackers.
And here's a big play, 3rd and 4 at their own 42. Handoff, Schlichting, and he is swallowed. Drake Mosley.
Might be going for it. They look like they're bringing a couple people in. Now, this is unusual. The other part of this is just right there, the linebackers just scraping down. The defensive line tied up the offensive lineman, and that allows the linebackers to scrape into the hole, and that's exactly what he did. Here is going to be a tough deal because that center's not used to long snaps, and the punter's not used to punting the ball.
Lena-Winslow, fewer than 10 punts all season. But Wild sends it deep, and a pretty good punt. And a pretty good roll. This goes to the 23, and a nice punt for Wild. Again, a team, we say, okay, they almost never punt. They punt. They almost never throw. They throw. That was 40 yards.
They want to make sure that they're telling us to stay balanced here up here in the booth. Telling them what they can't do. But that was, for what they do during the year, that was really a good punt. In high school, you can't take for granted special teams. That long snap, that punt. And this is something that was really well done right here.
40-yard punt this time. A 44-yard punt a couple moments ago from Althoff Catholic. And now we get the Crusaders offense for the 3rd time. First drive produced a 69-yard touchdown. Second one, a penalty-ridden 3-and-out. And here's Tierre Hill Jr. down the right side of the 28 or so. Already 6 carries. They are feeding the beast.
Well, and they should. And they're trying to get him to the outside. And what makes it difficult is when they have a spread formation, those wide receivers take those corners downfield, and that creates a larger gap on the edges. And with his speed, he gets to the outside. It's big yardage.
You ask Austin Frazier, hey, what kind of offense do you run? He says, we want to get our speed, skill guys in space. Very simple. It's a space game for the Crusaders. Here's the first throw for Ellington. And Stephen Brown shimmying almost to the 30 before he is roughly dragged down by Coburn Lynch. Set up a 3rd and short.
That's a good thing he caught that ball because that ended up being a lateral that was thrown back.
It's 3rd down, 3rd and 4.
Go down as a rushing attempt and then just making sure he's okay on the sideline.
You know what's kind of different here, Sam, between these two offenses is Althoff is not intimidated by doesn't do well on first down. For Lena, first down is crucial. They need to get 3 or 4 yards.
All right, Althoff, a little more of a spurty offense. Here's Hill on 3rd and 4. Might have 3.99. That's about as close as you can get to the first down. And Althoff looks like they want to keep the offense on the field. Let's take a look.
Good job there by the offensive line. Kind of poor tackling right there by the defensive front, and they're going to end up giving them the first down.
First down by a hair. De'Aaron Hill Jr., the Gatorade Player of the Year in Illinois last year.
And what's interesting about it is for Oregon to come all this way to get a running back. When you talk about he must be pretty darn good, and we're getting a good example of that on the first touchdown run that he had.
Yeah, Oregon's Big Ten country now.
That's
remember,
right. Yeah, they'll come
2024 in college football. You recruit in Belleville, Illinois. So first and 10, 33-yard line, and Hill goes to work again. A spin, a rumble, a dive, and he almost has the first down. Set up a second and short.
He's a strong runner at 190 pounds. Does a good job with excellent speed, but he runs well inside the tackle. You can see a good job right there with the cutback. Real quick feet.
He's
that's
at
really
99.
important. Yeah.
So on second and short, it's Hill again, and that'll get him to triple digits and a whole lot more. Hill to the 30. A beast showing out in the state title game.
Good job right there, just popping through that line of scrimmage. The linebackers overplayed, and he showed the speed that he has. He runs really well inside and just pops by those linebackers, and right there for a touchdown-saving tackle by Coburn Lynch, or he's gone all the way. He needs to get a little break right there. You could see how he kind of asked himself to come out there.
So Hill taking a knee, and now the first snap for Althoff Catholic without their best player, who's got 9 carries for $128. And hold up, we have yellow laundry flying. It came from the near sideline, and let's check it.
The offense. I'll start.
That's Althoff's 4th offensive penalty, so we know how explosive they are, but they keep setting themselves back.
Well, that's a penalty that really gives coaches gray hairs. You know, you don't mind a penalty during active play, holding or a block or a clip, but the plays that drive coaches crazy are penalties that are caused before the play is even snapped. Offside, illegal procedure, things like that before you even get a chance to be active.
They've had a host of false starts already, and on first and 15, here's a little burst for a little Stephen Brown. About 5-yard chunk for him. Brown, a 5'8" sophomore, almost 500 rushing yards on the season, working in that backup role behind Hill.
You know what happens, Sam, when you play schedules like what they do and they don't have a lot of competition, these backups get an awful lot of experience. I mean, they're probably playing the entire second half in a lot of these games. So you're not talking about a kid coming in that really hasn't handled the ball. He's played probably half the games.
Jumbo package now for Althoff. And here's Hill. Hill, about 1 yard, but a highlight yard as he duped out Coburn Lynch.
Fans are looking for a holding call out there, but they don't get it.
So a 3rd and long now for Althoff.
Let's look on the edges out here. Right there, you can see how they're looking for a hold.
And that's right in front of the Lena-Winslow sideline, so hence the hooting.
Oftentimes, you're not going to get that call if you don't see a jersey coming away with a hand on it. Because oftentimes, it's just the palm that's into the jersey, not the fingers grabbing cloth.
So 3rd and 8, big play for Althoff. It's a throw off to the right side, and Colden has a first down and a little bit more. Two-way Boston College-bound star Charleston Colden.
And that's a good throw by Ellington. He averages 12 passes a game with 8 completions for 149 yards. So that's pretty good offense and good balance for their scheme.
Yeah, this is a much more balanced team. 413 yards a game as Hill rumbles through for a bit more, and he's over $130 in the yardage department. So Hill, college football at Oregon next year, you were saying.
Well, you know, it's interesting. When you have blowout schedules like they've had scoring-wise and averaging 49, almost 50 points a game, it creates great practice atmosphere because these kids all get into ball games. So during the week, you're getting a good atmosphere. You're getting a lot of kids hustling. They know that they're going to get an opportunity to play in the ball game. So it's a perfect scenario for a coach to have a good week of practice.
Hence, they're a machine at 13-0. And the 10th play of the drive goes for just a few. Althoff can pick up a first down around the 6. As the clock is ticking, 30 seconds to the end of the first quarter, which has been dominated by Althoff by nearly 100 yards and 7 points.
Well, the only thing that's really hurt them so far in this first quarter is penalties. And they've been shooting themselves in the foot. And most of those penalties have not been at all during a play. They were before snaps, pre-snaps.
4 penalties for 30 yards for Althoff. Just one little 5-yard penalty for Lena-Winslow. But quarter one belonged to the Crusaders, gunning for their first state title in 34 years. The undefeated Althoff Catholic Crusaders with a dominant first here at Hancock Stadium.
Ashley's Black Friday is here. Friday morning, doors open at 7 a.m. Shop incredible doorbusters starting at just $1.99. Plus, from 7 to 10 a.m. only, get your choice sofa only $2.99. Don't miss Black Friday at your local.
Tomorrow, I'll be making a difference in the classroom. Tonight, I'll be making memories with the dance team.
I'm expressing myself with my poetry and with my hands.
I'm providing for my patients and for my community.
At NIU, you'll go places as unique as you, with the resources and support to get you there. Join us and start writing your story today.
On behalf of our 12,000 members, I want to congratulate all the athletes in today's competition. I am Don Finn, the business manager of IBEW Local 134, representing the unionized electricians of Chicago and Cook County. Local 134 offers you more than just a job. It offers you a career. Our future is brighter than ever. From building solar fields to constructing data centers to shaping Chicago's skyline. Join the most diverse workforce in the building trades. Building careers, building the future. IBEW Local 134.
Tired of the same old routine? Ready for a career that's always changing? In the roofing trades, every day is a new adventure. Learn a skilled trade, earn competitive wages, enjoy great benefits and solid opportunities for career advancement. With starting wages and benefits above $50 per hour, you can earn while you learn. So, are you ready to climb to new heights? Learn and join the roofing trades today.
Black Friday is here. Hurry into your local Ashley for the biggest and best Black Friday furniture event ever. From 7 a.m. to noon, take 30% off your entire purchase with no minimum. Don't miss Black Friday at your local Ashley.
Welcome back to the 1A state championship game. The connection between Althoff Catholic quarterback Jaden Ellington and running back De'Aaron Hill Jr. is undeniable. They are two of the most explosive players on this offense. And as you guys talked about, Hill is committed to play at Oregon next season, scored 5 touchdowns in that semifinal game, already having a good day here today. Coach Frazier told me De'Aaron acts like the older brother to Jaden. He goes out of his way to talk to Jaden about his vision as a quarterback. Coach Frazier said, if every player was like De'Aaron Hill, you wouldn't lose any sleep. He's a great leader, explosive in the backfield, and it's been amazing to see how much the Gatorade Player of the Year has improved from his junior season to his senior season. Something else that we're keeping an eye on, but I think he's back out there now, was Althoff lineman Jordan Wright. He came off, guys, a little bit shaken up at the end of that quarter. Trainers were asking him if he is all right, if he's dizzy, if he thinks he might have blacked out, but he is back out there on the field, so he should be back to normal.
Thank you, Casey. We see Jordan down there as Hill goes to the 5-yard line. Casey bringing up what Coach Frazier told us. Oh, if every player was like De'Aaron Hill, I think you would never lose a football game ever.
Well, most people would agree with that have certainly played against Althoff and have played against Hill. They would realize that particular comment.
First and goal. Here's the 12th play of the drive. Started back at the Althoff 10, and now they're knocking on the door of end zone trip number 2. Ellington back there with Hill. It's Hill again, and Hill for 6 more.
Well, that's their power setting. They run in between 2 running backs who are in there. They don't disguise anything. They just go in there and they say, we're going to come after you. And that right side of the line, the center Cam Golden and the right guard Jordan Wright and the right tackle Patton Lieb You can see him coming right in there, the power that they show, and you can't stop him. In that first quarter, we had Althoff with 156 yards of offense, and they had 10 or more yards on several of their plays. They had a 58-yard run for a touchdown and a 29-yard run, and they were averaging in that first quarter 10 yards a carry. So that kind of gives you the idea of the explosiveness.
That one was for 5 for the touchdown, and again, the extra point is good for Wilkinson. So it is all Althoff and the Zaire Hill gang. They got a lot to cheer about today.
They really do. And I mean, he's really putting on a show. As Casey mentioned, he had 5 TDs in the semis last week. Kind of gives you an idea why he can do that. He's got a great offensive line to run behind, but he's got all the skill. He's got all the tools you need to be a great running back. He's got power at 190 pounds. He runs inside the tackles very well, and he's got quick feet and explosive speed to break the long ones.
Catch him on a Big Ten field near you next year. And if you live in the state of Illinois, there are a few Big Ten fields probably right near you. That was a beast of a drive. 12 plays, 77 yards in under 5 minutes. Last 5 plays were Hill runs. They're not disguising.
And they shouldn't. Concept about a good program is get the ball to your best player. Get the ball to your skill people, and certainly try and do it in the open field.
This is Coburn Lynch with a nice little return to the 35, and we could keep waxing poetic about Zaire Hill all day long. But let's show you a bit about what he's done. 14 carries, 147 yards, 2 touchdowns. What's most impressive about this man?
Everything. He's got speed to get to the outside. He runs hard inside. You'd never realize he's 190 pounder. He's got quick feet, and he's got good speed in the open field. He's got all the tools you need to be an outstanding running back in the Big Ten. Watch the quickness of his feet right here, how he cuts back. Good power.
You know you're having a good day when a 5-yard touchdown brings down your yards per carry. As Hill is right around 10, and the snow falling as Lena-Winslow goes to work on offense, predictably. Rush up the middle.
I can guarantee you, Sam, that they're not going to panic. They're going to stay with their game plan. They've been effective for many years with it. They've been effective all year long with the wing tee, coming back and showing counters and running traps and misdirection, keep you off balance. Now, the tough part is that obviously Althoff has got 11 guys inside 5 yards. It's tough to run against them.
These guys have solid momentum now as Wild gets the ball, and he is rocked down behind the line of scrimmage. 3 Crusaders were in on it, led by Drake Mosley.
Well, the crucial aspect with a team like this kind of offense is first down is critical. You can see a good job right here by the linebacker stepping up and doing a real nice job.
And not much on first, negative on second. That sets up a 3rd and 5 for the Panthers. A team that pretty much only runs. A team with 3 state titles in 4 years, but down big early. It's a pass. Lessman has nowhere to go, and he is absolutely swallowed by Asher Peterson.
Now, this is an example of a young man that is not used to throwing the football. It's play action, but he's not used to throwing the football and doesn't realize that he's a right-handed quarterback going to his left. And in order to get the ball down the field, you've got to get that shoulder turned up. He gets all the pressure right here. Let's watch him going to his left. Good penetration. He cannot turn his shoulder to be able to throw the football. That's a big loss right there, especially when you got to kick into the wind.
A loss of 11 yards. And now a punt into that swirling, snowy weather. Wild sends it out of bounds, and it's going to set up some juicy Althoff Catholic field position as a flag flies. We saw Mosley diving at the blocker right back there. Althoff Catholic already with 4 penalties. Might have number 5 coming.
Be interesting to see what this is.
Again, our head officials, Mark DiMarzio.
Dead ball foul. Personal foul, late hit.
35 yards in the punt.
15-yard penalty.
So late hit on Mosley. Would have been great field position for the Crusaders. Instead, it'll set him back behind the 30.
Every penalty they've had, Sam, has been by themselves, shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, good thing is they can score in a hurry. 14-zip, all Crusaders.
Coughing and throat feeling sore? We've got medication to get you out the door. Earache, pink eye, bug bite, or rash? Our wonderful staff will treat you in a flash.
What about sprains, strains, and minor fractures too?
Don't worry, our x-rays reveal what's hidden from view. Need care after 9, 10, or 11? Our virtual care's got you 24/7. OSF on-call urgent care, in person or virtual, we're always there.
We're going to need more fuel. A renewable way to get that fuel instead of relying on foreign countries for petroleum, we can just grow our own fuel. Our fields are literally full of energy.
In the Illinois State Championship game, Class 1A, it's all Althoff Catholic in the snow, 14-zip. And now a little geography lesson. The road to normal is brought to you by the Illinois State Police. Integrity, service, pride. 170 miles north and east to get here from Althoff's campus in Belleville, Illinois. Well, it's also 170 miles from Lena. Little different direction. It's up near the Wisconsin border. So these two teams converging here at Hancock Stadium, which was the site of the first Illinois State Championship game ever played 50 years ago this week. Now here we are on a snowy day in 2024. Sam Brief, Jack McInerney, our wonderful crew, braving the elements as Althoff Catholic set back from a late hit penalty, but with a ton of momentum.
Well, the only problem with Althoff is they're up 14 points, but they've got 5 first downs, but they've also got 5 penalties. So they're negating their aggressive play by the penalties.
And 45 yards on those 5 penalties as Hill gets back a few. That second effort for about 4 more yards.
He almost gives you the concept that after that second hit, he's going to pop one loose. I mean, right now, Lena's very fortunate that they've been making a couple of good tackles on him because he's only a step away from breaking one.
He's got 16 carries for 152 yards. And we are just a couple of moments into the second quarter.
And 2 touchdowns.
Cool. Video game numbers for De'Aaron Hill. Thompson in motion, and this is Logan Thompson. Nice little burst across the 35 before he is dragged down by Preston Schultz. It's the third down coming.
Good job of stringing that out by the corner. And those linebackers getting over there. Plays like that where kids have good speed, you got to string them out. You can't let them get up the field because you run at speed, but you try and stretch them out where you use the sideline as another defensive player for you.
Part of the Althoff success so far has been third down conversions. 4 of 5 on the day. And this is a 3rd and short. It's Hill, and he's swallowed up in the backfield. So no third down conversion this time. Now decision time for Austin Frazier.
They might go to their goal line package to pick up that yard.
It's going to be 4th and 2. And here comes the big boy. Usually see him on defense. Jason Dowell, 6'4", 288. He'll play SEC football next year at Missouri. And he comes on for the jumbo pack.
Another 300-pounder in the backfield. It's like the fridge with the Chicago Bears. Getting those big linemen in the backfield. It's tough to stop people like that.
I don't think Bears fans want to think about the Bears right now, Jack. And timeout called before a 4th and 4.
Good call.
It was called by Althoff. So get things set. What's the message?
Well, they want to make sure that they don't want to give Lena good field position here, because that's part of their package, because they'll control the ball and the chains. They get decent field position. But Althoff's been almost unstoppable with their offense. And, of course, when you get those 300-pounders in there, it's tough to stop them when all you need is a yard. But here they need a little more than that. So there might be some more than a decision of going for it here.
If you're coaching up Lena-Winslow here, you got to respect Jaden Ellington's arm too, right? So what's the counsel like on defense?
Well, first of all, the safeties are not going to make the plays in the backfield for the loss. So you make sure that they're playing the pass. The linebackers are the ones that got to make the play. Defensive line, tie up the offensive line, let those linebackers scoop in the gaps, and hopefully make the play. But you cannot afford to have that secondary come up and think that they're going to make the tackle for a loss. That's where play action will kill you.
If Lena-Winslow is going to come back in this game, a stop here is crucial. A lot of beef up front for Althoff and a big 4th down and 4. It's Hill rumbling through. Hill's got 4 and more. And probably a touchdown coming soon. Down the sideline, one man dragged down. A 3rd score, 65 yards for Dier Hill Jr.
4th down, and all he needed was about 3 yards, but he said, I'll get you more. He's amazing. He's all he's been spoken about. We heard about him, and now we're actually seeing the real Hill.
He's already got a State Player of the Year award. Well, now he wants a state championship. And he has Althoff Catholic humming in the early going.
That was a heck of a run.
All he needed was 4. He got 65. And now Austin Wilkinson, the freshman, he's on for his 3rd extra point in just a quarter and a half. Bang, straight on through. 21 zip. Hill's got 206. Althoff's up 21. They haven't won a state title in 34 years. Might not have to wait too much longer.
Every year, the Wiffles family celebrates the season the best way they know how. And every year, they add a little something new. After all this time, you'd think all that extra work put into every last detail would get old. Well, think again. Wiffles Hybrids. Season's greetings from our U.S. farm family to yours.
Home is more than a place. It's full of the people and moments that matter most. Providing for loved ones, expanding your horizons, or simply living the life you love. With all you have to protect, choose insurance you can count on so you can experience more of what you live for. Country Financial. Experience more.
It feels like we've barely begun, and already Dier Hill Jr. has run it 17 times for 216, 3 touchdowns. He's just majestic.
He really is an outstanding high school running back, no doubt about it. Total yards for Althoff at this point is 240 yards. Lena's only got 41 yards. And of those 240, Hill's got 216 yards. Are they one-dimensional? Not really. But they haven't really needed to throw the football yet.
Only 1 passing attempt so far for Jaden Ellington. We know he can sling it. He hasn't had to. Also, it's snowing. It's windy. Feels like 4 degrees down there. So good day to run the ball. And definitely for Dier Hill. How about those gloves? We told you he's bound for Oregon. Looks like they already sent him some swag.
Oh, I'm sure they did. I thought what was interesting during the break, the offensive lineman came over and we're talking with him, and he was hugging the offensive lineman. That's a relationship. If you're a smart running back, that's the relationship you want to have. I don't want to have it with the cheerleaders at this point. I want to have it with the offensive linemen. They're the guys that are helping me get that kind of yardage.
Can have it with everyone. Fair catch made at the 22, and let's run the tape. Well, last time we saw Hill out there, he needed 4 yards to get a 4th down conversion. He leapt over a guy, spun through a few more, and then sprinted to the house for his 3rd touchdown in a quarter and a half.
And you got to give some kudos to that offensive line that opened up that hole for him. Now, granted, he's got quick feet, great speed, but in order to get to that point past the linebackers, that offensive line of Davis, Rogers, Golden, Wright, and Lieb had to do a great job of opening it up for him, and they did that.
And now Schlichting gets absolutely nothing. Oh, there's a flag. It's in the defensive backfield. Remember, the one blemish for Althoff has been the penalties. 5 for 45 yards so far, while Lena-Winslow's only committed 1. So it sort of feels like it's almost Althoff against themselves with some of those self-inflicted wounds.
And it almost comes down to yardage. They almost have more yardage themselves with penalties than Lena. But that was
personal foul
Lena.
here. This is against Lena, so just their second penalty, and hoping for a comeback. It's a huge penalty that goes against Jaden Schubert. And now the 28-year head coach, Rick Aaron, he's searching for answers.
And one of the reasons why that was a big penalty, not just because it was 15 yards, but where it transpired. Having the ball only on their 12-yard line now because of that penalty.
So second and long, and on the end around, he's just dragged down.
Great defensive play right there.
Nothing happening for Lena-Winslow. Jaden Rakowska on the carry.
And Drake Mosley, number 3, the linebacker, showing great speed. He's also their number 1 tackler on their defense. 6'2", 225 for 225-pounder. He runs awful well. And this is something that we see now, Sam, as things have transpired here with high school football. These players, the linebackers, and they're playing 220 pounds. The linemen are 290, and they all can run. They're not slugs. They move.
Austin Frazier's wearing shorts out there as a 3rd and 22 run goes for just about 2. And backed up inside their own 20. Lena's probably got a punt, right?
Well, you know, they normally don't, but in a situation like this, they're going to have to. They don't want this to be a complete blowout. They've got to get back in the ball game. You cannot give Althoff good field position, but they're going to get it anyway. And the other thing I like is Althoff has 2 people back, and that's what you need to do on turf. You don't want that bounce.
Well, Wild has averaged 34 on punts, and this one rolls down to the 34-yard line. Rock solid. 50-yard punt, and Austin Frazier in his shorts. He's fired up. Jack, you wore ski pants today. Austin Frazier rocking some basketball shorts.
And I'm in the booth.
75 and sunny in the booth, and let's take a look at Friday's schedule. We'll have Maroa Forsyth and Chicago Christian making its first ever state title game appearance coming up next. Then 3A and 4A to take you home for 5 through 8 tomorrow. This is a loaded schedule.
It really is. And as you look at DePaul College Prep, years ago that used to be the old Gordon Tech High School. So for a lot of people that are from the Chicago area, DePaul College Prep was originally Gordon Tech High School, who was one of the first state championship teams down here in the middle 70s.
Hill Jr. is nearly impossible to bring this man down as he gets to about the 40. So 21-0, an advantage of about 200 yards of total offense. Jack, when we got into the booth today, you turned to me and said, the way Lena-Winslow plays, you get down early, it's almost impossible to come back. How do you do it?
Well, it's really tough. I mean, they've got to have discipline and they've got to believe in their game plan. But when you're down and you're a running team like this, it's very difficult to get back in the ball game. That was part of Althoff's game plan, obviously, was to get up early and then force Lena to do something they don't want to do, which is throw the football.
Now just keep the machine humming. The second throw of the day for Ellington falls a couple yards shy of Colden.
Ellington's pass.
So 3rd and short coming, just 3 yards needed. Well, there's Colden. He's the only true two-way guy that Althoff has, and he's bound for Boston College. Tremendous cornerback with, according to his coach, hands like suction cups to help him on offense.
Well, the thing is, in a game like today, he's not going to get a chance to use those suction cups the ref.
On 3rd and short, it's more Hill. And might be a yard shy. But near midfield, I'd expect him to stay out there for 4th.
Well, the other part of this, too, is what we mentioned a little earlier, is the fact that some of these younger players get the opportunity to get game time. We got Hill out of the ball game, but they're giving some younger players an opportunity to play, get some experience.
The last time Althoff went for it on 4th, it was a touchdown. Now it's a stuff in the backfield. Wild drags him down. And a huge defensive win for the Panthers.
And Lena really needed that going into halftime with 4 minutes left. If they can put a score on the board here, they would actually be back in the ball game. You say, well, they're down 21-0, but great penetration by the defensive line right there. Great job by the defense. Good job of turning that ball inside. Lena needs to have a drive here, put some points on the board, and go into halftime with a positive attitude.
And they'll start with the ball.
Yep.
In the 3rd quarter. So big chance here. This is the window of opportunity for Lena-Winslow. They'll start the drive at the Althoff 42, and Wild has a ton of space. The big boy rumbles to the 31. It's a 1st down.
And that was a good play call because right now the line of scrimmage is being won by Althoff. Lena's been having a tough time with the offensive line controlling Althoff's defense. So to toss the ball and get to the outside, good job of power, good kick out right there by the corner. That's a big 1st down for them. They need to be efficient on 1st down to get back in this ball game.
Only 3 1st downs this half. Althoff has 3 touchdowns. It's Wild again. Why not feed the hot hand?
Exactly.
Wild again, the ball carrier.
That's 7 carries for Wild. And a 2nd and middle distance coming.
He's averaged 13 carries a ball game for 100 yards. He's had 21 touchdowns coming into this ball game, so he's a very effective back. He averages just over 7 yards a carry prior to this ball game.
205 pounds of muscle for the junior. He's in the backfield, and again, 3 straight runs and another 1st down on a huge possession.
Well, what they're doing with that toss is when you toss the ball right away, the outside corners think the ball's going wide. And what they do is they take the motion man and or the wing and they kick out that corner that's coming up thinking he's going to turn the ball up inside. But in reality, that play is designed to go inside. And that's why it's been so effective in this particular drive.
Well, a rushing attack for Lena-Winslow, 350 yards per game. Only 4 yards a carry today. Wild on the outside has more than that. It's a 1st down. It'll set up a 1st and goal depending on what happens with this flag. Some yellow laundry.
This will be a killer if it's against Lena.
Big call here for
on the defense.
Mark DiMarzio.
Foul. Face mask. After this little goal. 1st down.
Face mask on Althoff, a killer for their 6th penalty. That'll drive Austin Frazier nuts.
That's a big play added to this drive for Lena. They need to punch this in, and things will be a little different in the 2nd half.
So 1st and goal at the 4. It's to Wild, and Wild is in. 1st score for Lena-Winslow. They're in it.
And that's the play that's gotten them down into the end zone. This particular play, that toss, very effective during this entire possession, this entire drive. And Lena needed to get that going into halftime, and they're going to get the ball in the 2nd half.
Every single play was a Wild run. And here's the last of them for 6.
And you can see the kick out block by the motion man. It turns into basically a trap. He goes in motion and he kicks out. The corner coming up to make the play, and it's designed to go up inside anyway. And of course, Wild has done a nice job all season long with that particular play. He's a good football player. He's 205 pounds.
Going for 2 as they always do. Now to the speedy Schlichting. Dragged down behind the line of scrimmage. So 2-point conversion unsuccessful, and Lena-Winslow stays true to form but stays down 15.
And the tough thing to do is run down here because you got a shortened field, obviously, and that secondary can play nice and tight.
5 plays, 42 yards. It was all Aiden Wild for the touchdown.
42 yards, Sam, but a big 15-yard penalty.
And Austin Frazier took the sunglasses off. You know he means business as he studies things. This is a huge minute 59 seconds, right? If Althoff can sneak in another touchdown, oof.
Yeah, that would be a big difference maker psychologically going into halftime. You know, you're talking about a state championship game. You're talking about two teams. Lena's been here, so coach can talk to them about, you know, just relax, settle down, play our offense. We'll get back in the ball game in the second half. On the other hand, Althoff, who hasn't been here in a long time but has been so successful all year long, coach says, look, you know, we can score anywhere on the field. So let's just kind of calm down and stop being killing ourselves by shooting ourselves in the foot with all these penalties. That's been the thing that's been stopping them, is their own penalties.
6 penalties for 50 yards. Backbreaker. Althoff up 15. And now a kick return going in the wrong direction. That is not
Say again.
What you intended. Logan Thompson turned around, went back 10 yards, and then was tackled. Now let's go back in time. 1974, 50 years ago, the first ever Illinois State Championship game was played right here at Hancock Stadium.
And it wasn't turf then, it was grass.
Looked a whole lot different, and how about this? Only 21 combined points. Flanagan over Concord. 50 years later, we have Althoff scoring 21 by themselves in the first half.
Look at the haircuts. Look at the shoulder pads are so much bigger. All of the things are now, everything's kind of designed. The equipment is much more sleek, and the players are quicker, bigger.
Well, here's the quickest and the biggest, the baddest, the best of them. Dier Hill Jr. to the 50. And if I know anything about this man, he is gone. The 4th for Hill. 80 yards to the house.
Absolutely unbelievable. We talk about explosive. We just talked about Lena needing to stop them, so you go into halftime with something to talk about, and bingo, you talk about a big play team. That's why they're averaging 53 points in the playoffs and 49 points in the regular season. You know, and ironically, they only had 2 close games the entire season, and one was in the 4th game of the year. And this is mind-blowing to me. 53-52 was that ball game against Tolina Unity. And then in the 9th game of the year against Canelan, they won 14-10. So it makes you wonder what went on in those 2 ball games for a team that's so explosive.
Today it's been all explosion. Wilkinson's 4th PAT. 304 total yards for Hill in the first half. Oregon Duck fans, you'll like this man. Let's take a look at the last 80. Huge chunk right before halftime.
Get the ball out to your playmakers. Some really poor tackling here by Lena, and just some great speed shown down the sideline. I'm almost sure he's on the track team also. Good execution getting the ball out to him, and just kind of a poor job of tackling by Lena.
See him shaking his head like, why do they even try?
4, 5 missed tackles on that particular play. And when you got a guy that's got that kind of speed, it's going to end up in the end zone.
The pass itself was only about 5 yards. Little dump out to the flat, but at 80 yards goes down as Althoff's longest pass play of the season.
You know, it's amazing to have athletes like that you know that once they touch the football, they're so explosive they could end up in the end zone.
Class 1A state title game. Althoff Catholic against powerhouse Lena-Winslow, and it has been all Crusaders. Fair catch at the 29, and you know Dier Hill Jr. has had a heck of a day. 304 total yards, and you do that enough, you get yourself a scholarship to a Big Ten program and the #1 team in the country. The Oregon Ducks signed De'Aaron Hill, who committed over this summer. He is bound for Eugene next year.
Well, I'm sure that they're looking at this game on television, and there's probably a lot of people in Oregon looking and saying, wow, what a great job of recruiting, because he is showing right now what they can do with a player like that.
You're based in Oregon. You recruit a guy like this, a small school in Belleville, Illinois. How about that? And how about this from Schlichting? Down to the 45 as Lena-Winslow has 90 seconds to try to sneak in a touchdown before break.
Now that's the best play that he's had since his first series when he busted one down the sideline. He has the capability of going long whenever he touches the football.
Carry of 16 for Schlichting. Here he goes again, an end around, and a nice cutback. Broken tackle, and to the 35. Alex Schlichting, little fire.
Well, you know, DeAndre Hill wasn't in this ball game, you'd be talking about him because he's the next look at that. I mean, he has been averaging 142 yards. Watch the speed that he has right here. Getting to the outside, good cutback, good feet. He averages 10 yards a carry, or excuse me, 10 carries a game for 142 yards. That's pretty good offense.
He's got 8 for 61 today. And now back to the power game with Wild. Covered nicely. Minute to halftime.
Well, that's an adjustment that Althoff's going to make at halftime, is that particular play, because it's been really effective. We got a timeout here by Lena.
Yeah, they've got a couple in their pocket, so wise to use one now. It's not a team that can really score quickly in a situation like this. 56 seconds to halftime, and still need to go 33 yards.
Well, if they get inside the 20, they can be very effective as far as maybe punching it in from 20. They're not usually a big play team as far as when you compare it to Althoff. I mean, there's very few teams in this state that are big play teams like Althoff. Maybe East St. Louis, which we'll see in the 8A championship game.
We'll get that tomorrow afternoon. For now, all about Althoff and a monster lead. We mentioned we're 50 years from the first ever state championship right here at Hancock Stadium. And a very simple program.
Look at the graphics.
Guy missing a foot? Just missing some toes?
That's an interesting graphic compared to, you've got better graphics right now on your charts compared to that. And of course that was, 50 years ago.
Well, thank you very much.
You're entirely welcome.
Try to be artistic from time to time. Okay, 2nd and 8. Back to work. It's another throw for Lessman, and again, no idea what he's doing as he tosses it out of bounds, and that should be intentional grounding. The ball didn't make it back.
Was that a fumble, or did he throw it?
Might need to look at it again. And there's the flag. I thought he tossed it. Now, in high school football, there's no tackle box. So if you're thinking of that from the NFL, ignore that.
See, I thought he threw it. Yeah, he threw it at first. It looked like he might fumbled it.
So it's intentional grounding on a quarterback with only 23 pass attempts all season.
Boy,
today he's 0-2.
It's a shot of a big man right there. 6'4", 288. See the pressure that he gets. He can't even get, he's right-handed quarterback. He can't even get his shoulder turned up. Now you're looking at a 6'4", 288-pound defensive lineman making a play on a quarterback there.
So loss of down sets up a 3rd and 18. So Schlichting trying to get out of bounds. So clock stops as he does. 4th down and decision time for the Panthers.
And you know what? It's a big decision because normally you don't think about, well, we go for it. And, so they take the ball over here. But you can't afford to do that with this kind of a team. I mean, Althoff, as they showed us on the other play, scores on the very first play. They're just so explosive.
If there's 1 second on the clock, they can score. We still have 41. And the second Lena-Winslow timeout. Put your coaching hat on.
You gotta
what do you do?
You got to punt it. The wind's a factor, field position's a factor, and the explosiveness of your opponent is a factor. The speed that they have, if at all possible, I got to punt the ball.
Feels like a situation where it's kind of bad either way. What do I do to minimize the damage?
Well, the only thing that you got to worry about is, from a coaching standpoint at Lena, is a bad snap and a shank punt or a block punt. Otherwise, you know, when you got this kind of distance where they are against a team that has such big plays like Althoff, you got to punt the ball. Now, that's just my opinion. He's been here a lot more than I ever have. Maybe not so much in the booth, but down on that field.
A booth experience counts. This is real experience, and looks like he's going to follow. Rick Aaron, the 28-year head coach, 6-time state champion, electing to punt for the 4th time today. Lena-Winslow, offensive machine, has to settle for a punt. And Wild, the boot. Little line drive.
That's
that
good.
Falls perfectly at the 10. 90 yards, 33 seconds. Could be easy for Althoff.
Well, you never know, but that was a good call. Good, smart call by Rick Aaron to do that.
Well, De'Aaron Hill Jr. has 304 yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half.
That's amazing.
So if you're Althoff, you look at this and say, hey, why not? 6 more. Let's put it to bed.
There's been a lot of records set, and the record, I think, could have been by a Montini player that Isaac, that went out to Southern Cal from Montini. It was Ty Isaac. Our great statistician, Nick Pinto, was telling me. I knew it was Isaac, and I knew it went out to Southern Cal. And also they had Westerkamp, who went to Nebraska. Great receiver. I could never figure it out. I asked Coach Chris Andriano, why is he going to Nebraska? They never throw the football. But apparently he had some contacts out there, and he had a nice career there, more or less running punts back and blocking downfield, occasional catch here and there. But he was a great high school receiver. In fact, holds quite a few records here in the state of Illinois.
And a big Hail Mary catch in the game against Northwestern, as Althoff is just going to take 28-6 into halftime, and probably wise to do so, because that's pretty good. A team that has not won a state title in 34 years is now just 2 quarters from number 4 all-time, and it's thanks to number 10, De'Aaron Hill Jr., with a masterclass in the first half. We showed you a few times Althoff Catholic's head coach, Austin Frazier. He's rocking Nike high tops, sunglasses, and basketball shorts. That's a coach that can breathe some inspiration into his team. And right now, he's going to breathe some wisdom into the right ear of our own Casey Standahar, who is standing by on the field with Coach Frazier. What you got, Casey?
Coach, over 400 yards and 300 yards and 4 touchdowns for De'Aaron Hill Jr. Is this just status quo for him?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten pretty accustomed to this. I know he gets a big TV showing, so it's nice that he gets that up. But, yeah, we're happy with the overall effort. Scoreboard's fine. We still have a big second half. This is a dangerous Lena team.
Forcing this Panthers team to throw the football when they like to run. What do you like about your defensive execution so far?
Yeah, you know, we've had some moments where we looked really good, you know, kind of sputtered there a little bit at the end. So, you know, again, big second half, right? They're a second half group. This team's been here last 5 times for the state title, so it's going to take a good effort this third quarter to make sure that we don't let them get back in this game.
You're not comfortable yet?
I won't be until that clock goes off.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. All right, let's check in with Edgy and Marshall in our Chicago studios. Hey, guys.
All right, thank you so much, Casey. It's been a one-sided affair down in Normal so far. And, Edgy, we've seen 2 completed passes the entire first half. What does that tell us?
To me, it's been 2 things. It's been De'Aaron Hill, and it's been physics. 6'4", 298-pound offensive line, folks. sometimes physics wins out, and that's what's going on in this first half.
De'Aaron Hill Jr. has been a phenomenon, unstoppable so far in this game. When we come back, we're going to have halftime highlights, show you a little bit about what he can do, and show you more of the physics that you can speak of. If you want a lesson, Professor Edgy is here to give it to you. That's when we come back with halftime here, as we are at half of the 1A state title game. Althoff Catholic leading 28-6.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can know from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
Attention high school students. If you're tired of hearing the same old college debt story, we've got an exciting alternative for you. Join the Mid-America Carpenters Union and let your career dreams take flight. You can earn great pay, enjoy no-cost health insurance, and secure a stable retirement, all with no college debt and an elite career that's here to stay. It's time to build your future your way. Ready to carve your path to success? Contact the Mid-America Carpenters Union today to learn how you can unleash your potential.
You know what it's like to watch a winning team. Now it's your turn to be a part of one. The Illinois State Police is recruiting for our next cadet classes, and you could be our MVP. Protect the public, help those in need, and make a lasting impact in your community. Our mission, your future, higher purpose, higher pay. Starting pay is at $90,000 with incredible benefits package, including a take-home squad car, tuition reimbursement, paid leave, and more. Join the team that makes a difference. Apply today at IllinoisTrooper.com.
All right, let's go. I'll shop for the kids, and you get something for the dog.
Sounds good. Let's do this.
Whether you're shopping for gifts or something for yourself.
Don't forget toys for the dog.
Rush in for Black Friday deals at Menards that everyone will love. Because when they're gone, they're gone.
Save big money at Menards.
The IHSA, committed to keeping student-athletes safe. Through educational initiatives and national partnerships, we're going the distance to develop safer protocols for our teams. Plus, we continue to improve scheduling and conditioning to reduce injuries from preseason through each state championship. 31 sports, 350,000 student-athletes, and one goal, player safety. The IHSA, the future plays here.
Halftime of the 1A state title game. It is a 28-6 lead for Althoff Catholic up against Lena-Winslow. And I'm in studio along with Edgy, Tim O'Halloran, I'm Marshall Harris here getting you ready for the second half. We got to talk about what just went down. An interesting game. We knew that the weather and the wind would have a factor, but the real factor on the field was a running back out of the backfield for one Althoff Catholic.
Well, again, we talked about the conditions, and I don't care what you do offensively, you have to pack up your running game because you're going to run into a day like this, and when it happens, you have to have that. Now, if everyone has a major Division I running back to unload out of that bag, good for you. Use them, and that's exactly what Althoff is doing, obviously to great success here in the first half.
Let's remind you of what exactly happened in the first half of this game. It was all De'Aaron Hill Jr. from the jump. Early first quarter on a 3rd and short. He says, let me take it long. Hill Jr., this would be the theme of the day off to the races.
Yeah, you look at he glides. He doesn't run, he just glides, and he's so smooth and can run through or over you.
And then Lena-Winslow, they had a chance here to even the score, but deep into AC territory, it's Lorna Green with a big pickoff.
Again, a great read. The safety didn't bite. He stayed there. If he didn't stay there, it could have been a different story.
Now 14-0, and back to that man, Hill Jr., getting it done on the ground. Over 200 yards rushing in the first half.
Oh, look at that stiff arm. Look at it. I gave you one of those in the studio when he did that. That's exactly what you want to see out of a hard-nosed running back. Just an impressive display here in the first half.
323 yards of total offense for Althoff Catholic, and You know what? He's got 304 of them. Yeah. So all but 19 yards of the offense accounted for by him.
And again, you look at his skill set, and you saw it, that the jump stop, the gliding. I mean, come on, throw some comps here. Who's to remind you? I don't know. Marcus Dupree, maybe. There's a lot of guys you can compare him to at a very high level.
You just usually don't see in a smaller school state championship game a guy of this caliber who's headed to not 1A, but Division I.
And again, you got to give credit up front. I know Coach Jack talked about it. That line for Althoff is just outmanning Lena. Lena, great team, great line play. What we talked about, physics definitely a big factor here.
Austin Frazier says he's not exactly in the safe area now, but he's looked pretty safe so far with the way this game has gone. What adjustments could Lena-Winslow make to get back into this game?
Well, early on and late in the second quarter, we saw they were able to get Wild, the fullback, going. You got to stick to your bread and butter. You're not going to go shotgun if you're Lena. You're going to stick to your running game. Look over the huddle, look over the tape, see what worked, and just get back at it. And get back at your game and play your game.
All right, we'll see if they can do just that. We come back. We got some stats to look at. Plus, we'll talk about the rest of the day in action. Right now, though, halftime in the 1A title game, 28-6. Althoff Catholic with the lead over Lena-Winslow.
The IHSA Football State Championships are brought to you in part by Ashley, style begins at home. IBEW Local 134, building careers, building the future. Northern Illinois University, where your future is our focus. Visit niu.edu. Chicago Roofing Contractors Association, Chicagoland's best value, best roofs all year long. And Local 17 Heat and Frost Insulators. Energy is your #1 cost.
Ashley's Black Friday is here. Friday morning, doors open at 7 a.m. Shop incredible doorbusters starting at just $1.99. Plus, from 7 to 10 a.m. only, get your choice sofa only $2.99. Don't miss Black Friday at your local Ashley.
Is college not what you thought it was going to be? Here's an opportunity to work with your hands as well as your mind. Learn how to insulate mechanical systems in the industrial and commercial industries. With the Heat and Frost Insulators Local 17, you get to earn while you learn through our apprenticeship program. After 5 years, you'll finish with no debt, money in the bank, and you'll be on your way towards a pension. Scan the QR code and apply today, or visit our website to learn more.
Tired of the same old routine? Ready for a career that's always changing? In the roofing trades, every day is a new adventure. Learn a skilled trade, earn competitive wages, enjoy great benefits and solid opportunities for career advancement. With starting wages and benefits above $50 per hour, you can earn while you learn. So, are you ready to climb to new heights? Learn and join the roofing trades today.
Black Friday is here. Hurry into your local Ashley for the biggest and best Black Friday furniture event ever. From 7 a.m. to noon, take 30% off your entire purchase with no minimum. Don't miss Black Friday at your local Ashley.
Halftime in the 1A state title game right now is Althoff Catholic. They are leading 28-6. Coach, we talk about the fact that this game is leading into other games. 1A has not been disappointing at all. We might have a record-setting performance when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and again, you're getting Deer Hill going in that run game, and it makes me think about the games further down the line a little bit, and how's the weather and the wind and the snow flurry is going to impact that game. You look at the two-way game, Maroa Forsyth and Chicago Christian. Chicago Christian first time here. A little more balanced offensively. Maroa very pass heavy. Ryan Shepard 3,300 passing yards. They do have a 1,000-yard back in Karan Wilson, so I think the Maroa Forsyth going to have to, again, get that running game intact. If you need it, you very well could need it today. We'll see.
How much do you think the weather has been a factor so far today?
I think so for a fact, no doubt. And believe it or not, it might be keeping Althoff down a little bit because they really haven't had to throw the ball. They haven't needed to throw the ball, honestly. So, again, I think it'll impact the games a little bit more further down the line, especially tonight.
Deer Hill Jr. doing the work so far. When we come back, we'll take a look at the stats here at halftime of the 1A state title game.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of silly goose. Capture this moment and go forward together.
You know what it's like to watch a winning team. Now it's your turn to be a part of one. The Illinois State Police is recruiting for our next cadet classes, and you could be our MVP. Protect the public, help those in need, and make a lasting impact in your community. Our mission, your future, higher purpose, higher pay. Starting pay is at $90,000 with incredible benefits package, including a take-home squad car, tuition reimbursement, paid leave, and more. Join the team that makes a difference. Apply today at IllinoisTrooper.com.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation building our communities. With the Carpenters Union Career Connections program, high school students get a head start on the industry's leading curriculum. Learn the latest in construction technology and the many skilled crafts the Carpenters Union represents. Plus, earn as you learn. Receive a nice paycheck, health insurance benefits, and best of all, no college debt. Ask your school district to participate in the Career Connections program and get started on your future.
Back now with the Menards halftime stats. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. You see the score 28-6, but the rushing yards and the passing yards, that sticks out as well.
Yeah, just again, what you would expect out of Althoff, and you expect obviously a lot more rushing yards so far for Lena.
Lena hasn't been able to get their game going, so we'll see if they can get it started. They will get the ball to start the second half. Right now, though, it's 28-6. It's been all Althoff Catholic in the first half.
Tomorrow, I'll be making a difference in the classroom. Tonight, I'll be making memories with the dance team.
I'm expressing myself with my poetry and with my hands.
I'm providing for my patients and for my community.
At NIU, you'll go places as unique as you, with the resources and support to get you there. Join us and start writing your story today.
On behalf of our 12,000 members, I want to congratulate all the athletes in today's competition. I am Don Finn, the business manager of IBW Local 134, representing the unionized electricians of Chicago and Cook County. Local 134 offers you more than just a job. It offers you a career. Our future is brighter than ever. From building solar fields to constructing data centers to shaping Chicago's skyline. Join the most diverse workforce in the building trades. Building careers, building the future. IBW Local 134.
It's time for Christmas at Cantini. A time for laughter and joy. A time for cherished moments by coming together with the ones you love. Be awed by twinkling lights. Feel the thrill of gliding on ice. And enjoy the cozy warmth of s'mores by the fire. Cherish the moments together this holiday season at Christmas at Cantini. Get your tickets at cantini.org.
All right, let's go. I'll shop for the kids, and you get something for the dog.
Sounds good. Let's do this.
Whether you're shopping for gifts or something for yourself.
Don't forget toys for the dog.
Rush in for Black Friday deals at Menards that everyone will love. Because when they're gone, they're gone.
Save big money at Menards.
Back here in Normal, Illinois for the state championship 1A game, and I'm here now with Lena-Winslow head coach Rick Aaron. Coach, what do you tell your team at halftime?
Well, just we got to keep playing. You know, we're offensively, we've driven the ball. We just haven't been consistent. We'll have some big plays and then a penalty or something like that, and it sets us back. And then from a defensive standpoint, you know, we're getting guys in good position, and Hill's really good, but we got to bring him to the ground. We got to make tackles.
This is familiar territory, though, for you. You've won state championship games, but you haven't seen De'Aaron Hill like this. So what do you want to do to stop him?
just again, keep surrounding him, keep getting guys to the football. But you know, all in all, we got to make tackles. You know, and it's easier said than done from the sideline, I know. But you know, these kids have been in this position before, and hopefully we can respond and come out and have a better second half. Give ourselves a chance.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Casey. Wise words from Rick Aaron, someone who definitely has been here before. In 7 state title games, he's got a 6-1 record. So that's a coach, Jack, who really knows what he's talking about.
Well, you notice the poise. He has no panic whatsoever. That's carried over to his players at halftime. It's like, stay with the game plan. We run the ball. Let's get some good field position. Do a better job of tackling, which is a fundamental, and they'll be back in the ballgame.
Well, something that nipped Lena-Winslow early on was a crucial interception from a team that almost never throws the ball. This was a pick by Althoff Catholic's Lorne Green, and this defensive player of the game is brought to you by Union Carpenters and Contractors, partners in building communities and supporting working families. Well, 28 points for Althoff. The story of the first half was Dier Hill, but Jack, I thought that really set a tone for the Crusaders.
He is amazing. I mean, there's no other word. My vocabulary is quite limited when it comes to a player like that. He is just absolutely amazing. He's so explosive. Oregon's got a heck of a football player. Lena's going to have a tough time. You know, Coach talked about doing a better job of tackling. That's easier said than done. You've heard that term before. It's easier said than done. In this case, it holds true.
Tall task ahead for Lena-Winslow. For Althoff Catholic, however, they're just 2 quarters away from their first state championship in 34 years. And hey, the sun came out. Looks good against Dier Hill's gold cap. 304 yards in the first half. What's next for him?
Well, it's really amazing what they have done. But on the other hand, Lena has had 9 plays on first down. And for a team that first down is very, very important, they've had a total of 25 yards on those 9 plays on first down, and they've been averaging only 2.2 per play on first down. On third downs, they're 0-4. So they really have had no offense whatsoever in that first half.
And that's for a team that scores well over 40 points a game, rushes for almost 350 yards per game, but next to nothing in that first half. And great note on the final touchdown for Althoff Catholic. It was an 80-yard reception by Hill that he took to the house. And our stat man, Nick Pinto, with this one. It's a record tying the Class 1A state title game record. 80-yard touchdown pass. It was Tuscola's Nick Hankey in 2006 against Aledo. And Dier Hill, Jaden Ellington have teamed up to tie the record. Set back in 06, the Bears were getting ready to play in a Super Bowl that year. Well, times have changed.
Dramatically.
Caught at the 25 off the kickoff, and Lena-Winslow will start at the 32-yard line. Panthers have been to the state title game 5 years in a row, and Althoff knows that. Austin Frazier said, I'm not going to be comfortable until the clock hits zeros.
Well, the only thing that really is the same for Lena coming to the state championship game 5 times in a row are the coach and their offense.
Right.
Those are the 2 things that have been the staple of them coming to the state championship game. It's different personnel.
It's a wing T offense. All they do is run, and Aiden Wild continues to eat up yardage.
And that's a play that we talked about that Althoff would have to make an adjustment for at halftime because it was so effective. Probably the only real effective running play that Lena has had. They kick out with the motion man, and they turn it up inside, and Wild does a nice job, and that's been effective in the first half. So far, there was not an adjustment made.
So it's a first down here again for Wild. Stretching across to the 45.
And with an offense like this, first down is crucial because that changes the whole game plan as far as what they're going to run on second and third down. The first 2 downs are critical, but first down is really big for a double wing team that depends on running the football constantly.
This was one of the first formations ever in the sport of football. Pop Warner invented it way, way back in the day. Now we see it here in 2024 as Schlichting takes it to the 50. Right near the first down marker, but about 1.5 yards shy. Set up a third down.
Now, the only difference is they've kind of spread that offense out, and they call it a double wing now, where they have 2 wingmen on the outside because they can do a little more. They can spread out. The linebackers have a little more adjustments to make as far as the motion and things that they do. But you're right, it's basically the same.
You mentioned how crucial third down is for Lena-Winslow. They're 0 for 4 today, and now a 3rd and 3. Wild. Think he got it? Yep. First down.
And you notice that they're doing a little bit of an adjustment as far as what they're doing as far as the formations. They've come out in a full house backfield, and they've done everything, but they've kept everybody inside the tight ends. And that all that's doing is drawing Althoff further in and further in. I mean, they've got, as we mentioned, 11 guys inside 5 yards.
Everything's all bunched up. Nice and easy for him. It's a toss to Wild, and he's stuffed. A gang of tacklers led by Charleston Colden as the stun starts to shine here in Normal.
Now that play is going to lead up to a play-action pass, because what's happening is that safety and that corner is starting to squeeze that play up inside. And they'll come off a fake with that and throw the ball to the tight end going right by that safety as he tries to come up to make that play.
14 carries, 72 yards for Wild, who's been taking most of the carries this possession. And now it's Schlichting, who is mauled in the backfield. Stuff for no gain by Drake Mosley.
Nice play there. That play took a little more time than most of their plays. Kind of a fake to the fullback and come back with a little counter look, but the linebacker came right up. What you do when you're running against a team that runs a lot of misdirection, there's discipline involved with the linebackers. They have to stay home. They can't go with the first fake if it's not towards their side. The backside linebacker has to stay home looking for the counter, and that's what Althoff has done so far.
Drive stretching to the 45 now. All bunched up. There's that misdirection. There's Schlichting. He's got daylight at the 20. Schlichting, one man to beat. Schlichting dragged into the end zone. It's a touchdown for Lena-Winslow.
Nice play by Schlichting. Great speed. If it wasn't for Hill, as we mentioned earlier in that first half, Schlichting would be the best and quickest running back out here. We've got a Althoff player down on the 10-yard line.
It's a 45-yard scamper and score for Schlichting, and his 27th of the season. Trying to make out which Althoff player is down right there near the 10 and grabbing his left ankle.
You know, in that halftime interview that Casey had with Coach Ahrens, it was interesting how we mentioned how the poise that he had and how he doesn't panic and whatever. And that particular drive was a perfect example of his leadership that he has with the Panthers of Lena-Winslow.
Now we hope for the best for Jamaris Sadler, senior defensive back, playing his final high school game and really hurt on the ankle. Okay, so Lena, they always go for 2. No surprise to see it here in the state title. And Aiden Wild with an easy deuce. It's a 2-touchdown game. Well, maybe sitting at home, you thought at halftime, okay, blowout. Not so fast. We got a ball game. This is the state title after all. The Lena-Winslow Panthers not going anywhere.
Ashley's Black Friday is here. Friday morning, doors open at 7 a.m. Shop incredible doorbusters starting at just $1.99. Plus, from 7 to 10 a.m. only, get your choice sofa only $2.99. Don't miss Black Friday at your local.
Is college not what you thought it was going to be? Here's an opportunity to work with your hands as well as your mind. Learn how to insulate mechanical systems in the industrial and commercial industries. With the Heat and Frost Insulators Local 17, you get to earn while you learn through our apprenticeship program. After 5 years, you'll finish with no debt, money in the bank, and you'll be on your way towards a pension. Scan the QR code and apply today, or visit our website to learn more.
Black Friday is here. Hurry into your local Ashley for the biggest and best Black Friday furniture event ever. From 7 a.m. to noon, take 30% off your entire purchase with no minimum. Don't miss Black Friday at your local Ashley.
Lena-Winslow on the comeback trail, still down 2 touchdowns. Coming out of a score by Alex Schlichting, 45 yards to the house.
Well, you know, Lena has their answer to Deidre Hill. This is just a great job right here by Schlichting, showing the speed that he has and the cutback ability. Good job by the left side of the offensive line of Schultz, Kempel, Melville, Grindy, and Dunker. And they've been doing that all year long. And, of course, Schlichting's been doing that all year long. A 5'9", 145-pound junior. He's averaged 142 yards a game. And that's pretty good for a high school player, which is an average, doing my math in my head, of course, 13.5 yards per carry.
In your head?
Yeah, I didn't want to. Sounds good.
You're a machine, Jack McInerney. The injured player, Jamaris Sadler, looks all right. Probably wants to finish this one out. It's his final high school game. He's a senior. And injuries maybe take a little longer to heal in the cold. It feels like temperature down there of 4 degrees. And we'll see if 21 in white can stick it out. A little squib kick. Fielded at the 25, and right away Brown got down. At the 32-yard line. Well, as Casey told us, Tierre Hill Jr. has been the story. And to the tune of 304 total yards, 4 touchdowns, and making us pull out every adjective possible.
Well, you know, he has every skill that you want to have with a running back. He's 190 pounds. He runs hard up inside between the tackles. He has great speed to the outside on the perimeter. He has great quickness. He has power. He's got very quick feet, which means he can cut back and forth. He's done a great job, and that stat right there is just absolutely amazing in the first half.
That's 24-minute numbers. Now into the third quarter, more movement on that Althoff O-line. They have committed now 7 penalties. That's their 5th false start.
That's just amazing. I would love to talk to those kids and to coach to find out what has been the reason for that. It can't be that the counts are off, because they've been doing this for the past 13 games, so there's no reason for them to be jumping offside.
Self-inflicted wounds have kept Lena-Winslow somewhat in it. And do we have more movement? Lena-Winslow thinks they have another false start.
Dead ball.
I haven't caught who's doing it.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. To first down.
He just said false start on the offense, so we're not getting a call.
I don't see any movement either on the offensive line.
It's 6 false starts in 25 minutes of football. Keeps the window open, but here's Hill looking to gain it back, and he does so in a flash. Hill again. Tierre Hill Jr. owning the state title game.
Wow. Unbelievable. There's just no way to play him defensively, because you think he's got locked up, and you put a quick move with those quick feet, and he breaks it outside. And once he's outside, he's gone. Even if you have the angle to get to him, which is theoretically what you teach defensive backs, take the proper pursuit angle to get to him. You better have some kind of an Uber car to get to him, because you're not going to outrun him.
I don't even think an Uber could.
Probably not.
78 yards to the house. He said, all right, 5 yards here, 5 yards there on the false starts. I'll get you a score. Wilkinson caps it off. And that one just wide to the right. So first missed extra point for the freshman Wilkinson. And we'll get over that real quick because we got to look back at this touchdown.
You can see how he cuts back against the grain. Initially, that was supposed to be a trap to the right side, but he cut back because what happened was Lena closed down really quickly towards where the trap was going, and he just broke back the other way. And with that speed, there is no way that you're going to be catching him. Watch the cutback right there. And that led to it. Nice job by the wide receiver having a cutback block, but this is just amazing the speed that he has. He has such great confidence in himself, but also in that offensive line.
Think Austin Frazier's happy? Well, he told Casey not till the clock hit zeros.
Well, you know, coach can say that, but when you got a guy named Hill that runs like that, you can be kind of happy.
Well, he only has him for a few more quarters. Then he's shipping him off to Oregon. Play some Big Ten football next year up in Eugene. Wow. Caught at the 25. And down to the 30. So, how about this? 382 total yards today for De'Air Hill Jr. Lena-Winslow has 192. Almost 200 fewer yards.
Well, the thing is that he likes the big long runs. I mean, nothing, you can have all the penalties you want to back them up. So they got 1st and 15. I don't think it phases him one bit. He breaks off that long run, and you just can't be in a situation where they're not worried about 1st and 15. When you got a back like Hill,
I wouldn't worry about anything. Now back to Lena-Winslow. And just a quick little 4 or 5 yard run for Kobe Kearns, who you usually see on defense. Well, to your point, Jack, the long runs got 34 points for Althoff Catholic. 1 red zone trip.
That's an amazing statistic when you think of how explosive a team is. And we talked about their balance. Well, they haven't had to show us any balance. They've just shown us their running game.
Just 2 completions for the quarterback, Ellington. And here's Schlichting on an end around. Althoff read it perfectly. And storming into the backfield, Xavier Chapman.
That was really good execution by the defense right there. The corners came up. And, of course, everybody's within 5 yards. So the corners come up quickly on the outside, and they turn it in. Watch how he's forced to turn up inside, because it's the corner coming up, forcing it up inside. He's got the speed once he gets to the outside, but they're not allowing him to do that. They want to keep everything inside the outside linebackers.
3rd and 10. Rumbling forward, not much. So 4th down will come next, and I think another Althoff penalty.
Not a smart one either.
Again, Jason Dowell's about to be called for a personal foul. He committed a late hit in the first half, and the Missouri-bound defensive lineman continues to give free first downs to Lena.
Late hit, number 0. White.
6 false starts, 2 late hits.
Those are the kind of things where the coach should, or in many cases does, take the player out of the game, talks to him a little bit, lets him cool down, explains to him that that's not a good team effort.
So watch number 0. He's at the bottom of the pile right there, and then just shoves his man down. Can't do that.
There's no reason for that. He's already down.
Well, and then they take some yardage right back. Storming into the backfield, Asher Peterson with a loss of 2.
Well, both lines of scrimmage have been dominated by Althoff. Their defensive line and their offensive line have done an exceptional job today. Now, obviously, they have a tremendous weight difference. Their offensive line, averages, as we mentioned, 299, and their defensive line averages about 280. So they've had the size advantage over Lena. They only average 220 on that offensive line.
You told me it's a game that'll be won in the trenches, and that's the story so far for Althoff. Okay, here's Wild. Just a couple of yards. And with the clock ticking down towards 5, down 20 points, Lena-Winslow needs some chunks.
Well, they'll be going for it here. I mean, this is 2 downs to pick up about 8.
Third and 8 here.
I think that, Sam, they're probably at the point now where they say we just have to control the football. We can't allow Althoff to get the ball to Hill again.
Lena-Winslow was 0 of 4 on third in the first half. They're a perfect 2 of 2 to start half 2. A big one here with Wild in the backfield right at the 50. And they go to Wild. On the toss, he is stopped by Colden. 6 yards shy of the line to gain.
Well, I also think at this point that Althoff has picked up the idea that when they run that play, every single time they've run it to the right. Never have they run that with Wild going to the left. They've run Schlichting to the left, but never Wild on that toss. Every time he's run that play, he's going to the right, which has been a good play for him, but I think now Althoff is picking up on that.
Schlichting left, Wild right. That's been the attack. Okay, a huge 4th and 5. It's a pass for Lessman. Lessman just runs out of bounds, but a late hit will give Lena-Winslow another free first down. Baron Vaughn came humming at him. He didn't have to.
Just very undisciplined.
That's back-to-back 4th downs with late hits.
And there was no reason for that either. I mean, he was definitely out of bounds.
Personal foul, late hit number 9 on the defense. 15-yard penalty.
So in the second half alone, we've had 2 Althoff late hits, 3 false starts. That's the only thing keeping Lena-Winslow in it.
It's 10 penalties for them. You know, it's one thing to be a tough defensive team, and you want to have that reputation. I want to be a tough defensive team, but I don't want to be an undisciplined defensive team, and that's what they've shown us so far, is that they're the only aspect of their game, and it's a critical comment to make, but they have been very undisciplined with all the penalties they've had. They haven't had too many penalties as far as movement. They've all been dead foul plays.
They've gained 400 yards of offense, but lost 90 yards via penalties.
Yeah, it's just that'd be the only thing a coach would be upset about.
Now Rick Aaron is, I think, going over things with the officials, maybe on the spot. It's a 15-yard penalty.
So the 4th game, that ball foul on 4th down to be white ball.
Oh, so they're saying Althoff Catholic gets the ball because the play was after, the late hit was after the play was over. So possession had already switched. So when we come back, it'll be Althoff Catholic on offense. Rick Aaron can't believe it. We'll be back.
Every year, the Wiffles family celebrates the season the best way they know how. And every year, they add a little something new. After all this time, you'd think all that extra work put into every last detail would get old. Well, think again. Wiffles Hybrids. Season's greetings from our U.S. farm family to yours.
We're going to need more fuel. A renewable way to get that fuel instead of relying on foreign countries for petroleum, we can just grow our own fuel. Our fields are literally full of energy.
Back at the Illinois State Championship. So it's Althoff ball in spite of the fact that Althoff just committed a personal foul. Take me through it.
Well, one of the reasons right now, you can see the quarterback is rolling out, but he steps out of bounds there. The ball's dead. So it was dead the moment he stepped out of bounds, and the late hit came after possession and after the down. So that's why it was not an automatic first down. It was a 4th down play. He didn't gain the yard to gain And Althoff had the ball, but he was out of bounds, and so that's why the reason you had that unsportsmanlike and didn't pick up a first down with the 15 yards.
Rick Aaron thought, okay, we're going to get a first down, start creeping on the red zone, and instead he has to look at De'Aaron Hill Jr., who has gobbled up almost 400 yards of total offense today. Up 20 with the ball, Hill with just a few, but he dragged down about 5 guys with him. All right, well, Hill has scored a ton. Let's go to Casey. She's got some more insight.
Thanks. After that last touchdown moments ago from De'Aaron Hill Jr., some of his offensive linemen came up to him to celebrate and congratulate him, and he stopped them and said, hey, we don't celebrate until that clock hits 0. We still have another quarter and a half here. We've got the ball back. I don't want to celebrate until it's over. He still has his eyes on finishing strong here despite this 20-point lead.
Well, they just faked to him. It's the quarterback, Ellington, down the left sideline for a huge chunk. And back into the red zone goes Althoff Catholic. 47 yards for the QB.
And that's all you need to do when you're talking about a runner like Hill. It doesn't necessarily have to be a play action for a pass. It can be a play action for the bootleg, and that's what it is. Here's the fake. Then they go the opposite way because 10 players went with Hill, and there's only one right now chasing the quarterback. Good ball fake, but that's what happens. Everybody comes across, and they don't stay backside, and that's what happened. Good fake by him, and Ellington shows his speed. They don't need to throw the ball when they can do this with the running game.
Well, I'd go after Hill. Now they gotta. Goes through up the middle and plunging to make it over 360 yards on the ground gained by Althoff. And that's Hill. Very slow to get up.
Oregon right now is up off their chairs looking. He says he's okay. No, don't sub me. That's a competitor.
Freshman Logan Thompson was about to come in. Got shooed away.
Yeah. That's a competitor. He doesn't want to come out of the ball game.
If you're an Oregon fan, you're saying put the man in bubble wrap. If you're an Althoff fan, not so much. And they will use a timeout with just 1 second on the play clock. Always good to call a timeout when the clock is running down. Chicago fans know this well. 2nd and 9. And let's take a look at what will come today. This game has been a treat so far, but 3 more before you go to bed tonight. Our 2A game features the first ever state title game appearance for Chicago Christian against powerhouse Maroa Forsyth. That's coming up in just a few.
They've been here before several times.
Quarterback Ryan Shepard, sure to star. And then 3A and 4A will cap off day 1, the Illinois State Championships. Well, when we got here, the snow was swirling. Now the sun is shining, and Austin Frazier needs to actually use those shades now.
Stacy down there, is she putting down sunscreen on?
I think Casey's lips are frozen. She's got heated gloves, heated socks. I just don't want her to get electrocuted.
From up here, I'm thinking that's over the top, but I guess we can say that.
Hey, guys, I've got a nice little heated tent over here, too, but no sunscreen. Can confirm. Not yet.
A heated tent. Life sounds good down on the field.
I'm taken care of over here.
She's very well taken care of. And Ellington's throw is batted down right at the line of scrimmage. Miles Mann on a nice play.
Yeah, actually, they had pretty good coverage there. You had 2 receivers going down, one to the post and one to the flag. And surprisingly, not getting caught up because of the play fakes with the running game. Lena did a nice job of coverage in the secondary.
Lena's secondary has barely been tested. Quarterback Ellington today, 2 for 3, 93 yards, and 80 of those were on one play, a screen pass.
They're going out with their big package for the next 2 downs, but I think they're going to call another timeout here.
Clock's running down to 2. Quick snap here, got it off. Hill, a patient run. Hill burrowing through to the 8. 3rd and 9, throw it up the middle.
Another flag.
Looks like this one's on the Panthers.
And Coach Frazier was running down the sideline trying to get a timeout. They ended up getting a big play for a first down, and now the flag comes out.
You'll be glad he didn't get the timeout. It's been a messy second half with flags flying, all of them against Althoff Catholic. And now we await the call. Mark DiMarzio.
Dead ball foul, personal foul. Number 17 on the defense. Dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike. Number 10 on the offense. Foul, offset.
Wow. So Lena-Winslow's Jalen Rakowska with a foul, and then Dier Hill with a personal foul. The fourth Althoff personal foul.
And they got a first down on that. Now it'll be first and goal.
Dier Hill Jr., who's been the star of the show and then some, with a personal foul, but still first and goal because those offset. And the gold glinting on the helmets of the Crusaders as their running back takes it into the end zone for touchdown number 6.
It's amazing. I mean, he's getting obviously all the accolades. No doubt about it when you have the running game that he's able to produce. But I've got to give an awful lot of accolades to that offensive line of Logan Davis, Brock Rogers, Cam Golden, Jordan Wright, and Patton Lieb. You just got to watch them. Watch that offensive line. I mean, he just does a great job. I mean, they keep blocking up until that whistle. And, of course, with the power that he has, they're just amazing.
And they do it again on the two-point conversion to make the score look nice and crisp at 42-14. 6 touchdowns and over 400 yards of offense for Dier Hill Jr.
You know, the other interesting thing, Sam, with this offense is oftentimes when you have linemen that big, you don't assume that they're going to run real well, that they're going to be somewhat stagnant. But if you watch their offense, those linemen are pulling, they're trapping, they're doing a good job of getting downfield to create blocks in the secondary for Hill. And that's what amazing to me. I mean, as big as they are, they run so well.
You put a talent like Hill behind an offensive line like that, huge, athletic, and this is the result. Just 14 minutes, 31 seconds from a state championship.
You know, we talked about this before. Be interesting to see how good he is. Oftentimes, people will talk about, well, the statistics he has. Look at the schedule. Look at, you know, they're averaging 48 yards, 48 points a game in the regular schedule and 53 in the playoffs. How good can the competition be? How good can he be when there's not that good a competition? But I'll tell you right now, in watching him, he's one heck of a football player.
And he's such a good football player that he makes it a layup of a choice for our player of the game, which is brought to you by Country Financial. Visit countryfinancial.com to experience more, and via the power of the replay, we'll let you experience some more Dier Hill. 6 touchdowns today. Ties the 1A title game record, which was set by Sean Ormiston of Lena-Winslow in 2019.
Well, if they make him, the people on the sideline, aware of the fact that he tied the record, I'll guarantee you he's going to stay in probably until he breaks the record.
14 minutes feels like an eternity.
Yes,
he needs 14 seconds to score.
They might not know that's a record because they don't have a Nick Pinto down there like we do to understand that that's the record.
This is true. Although we could send Nick Pinto down there. He doesn't have his winter coat on. Feels like 4 degrees down there, so I think we'll keep him in the heat.
I don't want to give up Nick Pinto.
No, I would never. 2nd and 7 from the 38. Schlichting is taken down at the 40. And for Lena-Winslow, this is not a team that can score in a hurry. This is old school, ground and pound, wing tee, down. A huge margin. It's not their game.
Well, we had mentioned that earlier. When you get a team that runs the ball like they do, and with that particular offense, and you look at the statistics, and you see the quarterback averages over 13 games, throwing the ball twice, and that's a top. They're not going to get back in the ball game throwing the ball.
3rd and 5 now. Schlichting going to work on the left side. He's dragged down by Jason Dowell. He's short, but you got to go.
Jason Dowell is an amazing football player.
Right?
6'4", 288, and he runs the field as a defensive nose man like he's a running back. He is really impressive defensively.
Also a state champion wrestler. Says his goal is to catch a pass on offense, but he dropped a ball in practice this week. So Althoff head coach Austin Frazier said, no, you're not going to do that. But maybe tonight he'll hoist a state title trophy.
I always love to have wrestlers on my team. Tough kids.
1 to snap. Timeout. Lena-Winslow. You like wrestlers?
Oh, always had them on my team. They just were tough kids, mentally and physically. You could play them both ways, play them in overtime, everything. They never wanted to come off the field. Just a great sport that also was conducive to football players.
And Jason Dowell, state champion wrestler, maybe state champion football player real soon. And let's go back into the history books of the state championship. This is the 50th anniversary of the first. The first game in 1A, Flanagan winning their first and only. Well, St. Teresa ended up repeating the next year. They also won a couple of years ago. And here we are with the rest of the 1974 champs.
West Chicago, coached by Paul Unruh. Glenbrook North, coached by the Hall of Famer Sam Samorian. Great coach, great program.
That GBN team pulled off a massive upset of a Kellen Winslow-led East St. Louis team.
Yes, they did. Big upset.
Winslow, now a Hall of Famer. 4th and 2, and I think Wild got it. Just a stretch at the end for the first down.
Aiden Wild for a Lena-Winslow first down.
Some good, tough running right there by Jason Wild. He's only a junior. That whole backfield, Schlichting's only a junior also. So is the quarterback. So when you see these teams, when they're sprinkled with a lot of juniors in that starting rotation, you know that they could probably be pretty good the following year because they're getting some great experience. And in some of these games that they've had a lot of blowouts, some of these other kids are getting also a lot of experience.
And now on the reverse, this is Rakowska hopping over a few defenders, but it's a loss of about 5 yards.
Just great penetration right there by the defensive front, those linebackers. They're not concerned about the pass, so those linebackers, once that ball is handed off, they're flying up in those gaps and having that penetration. Very difficult to control a line of scrimmage when you don't have a passing game to go along with that run game.
And with just 5 seconds left in the third, Panthers content to wait a minute. So, fourth quarter coming. It's been all Althoff from pretty much the opening kickoff. And now the Crusaders are 1 quarter from state championship number 4.
Tired of the same old routine? Ready for a career that's always changing? In the roofing trades, every day is a new adventure. Learn a skilled trade, earn competitive wages, enjoy great benefits and solid opportunities for career advancement. With starting wages and benefits above $50 per hour, you can earn while you learn. So, are you ready to climb to new heights? Learn and join the roofing trades today.
On behalf of our 12,000 members, I want to congratulate all the athletes in today's competition. I am Don Finn, the business manager of IBW Local 134, representing the unionized electricians of Chicago and Cook County. Local 134 offers you more than just a job. It offers you a career. Our future is brighter than ever. From building solar fields to constructing data centers to shaping Chicago's skyline. Join the most diverse workforce in the building trades. Building careers, building the future. IBW Local 134.
Tomorrow, I'll be making a difference in the classroom. Tonight, I'll be making memories with the dance team.
I'm expressing myself with my poetry and with my hands.
I'm providing for my patients and for my community.
At NIU, you'll go places as unique as you, with the resources and support to get you there. Join us and start writing your story today.
Is college not what you thought it was going to be? Here's an opportunity to work with your hands as well as your mind. Learn how to insulate mechanical systems in the industrial and commercial industries. With the Heat and Frost Insulators Local 17, you get to earn while you learn through our apprenticeship program. After 5 years, you'll finish with no debt, money in the bank, and you'll be on your way towards a pension. Scan the QR code and apply today, or visit our website to learn more.
Welcome back, and as we start the fourth quarter, Althoff defensive lineman Drew McGee tragically lost his mother, Michelle Henry McGee, this year on October 14th. But then, 3 weeks after his mother's funeral, Drew actually scored a touchdown off a recovered fumble. You can see Drew here in this video recovering the football in the end zone in their 54-7 victory over Casey Westfield in Week 12. Look at the way he does this. Unbelievable play. All of his teammates went nuts for Drew. They jumped on him and celebrated. And Coach Frazier said, of course, we supported him as he went through that tough time. We attended the funeral, but what happened on the field that day, that carries more weight than the talk surrounding some of our star players.
A beautiful moment. And every member of the Althoff Catholic program was with Drew and his family at the funeral, mourning the loss of his dear mother, Michelle Henry McGee. Right now, Drew all smiles as Althoff has dominated this Class 1A state title game as we bring you back into our booth. Sam Brief, Jack McInerney, and our wonderful crew with Casey on the sideline. And Schlichting is just tossed down like a rag doll by Cooper Zimmer.
It makes it really difficult for that offensive line, no matter how well they're playing, when you have a defensive front where you have 11 guys within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage.
That last play featuring the throwdown. So riddle me this, Jack Mack. Lena-Winslow has an advantage in first downs, in total plays, and in time of possession. And they're down 42-14.
Well, they're not a big play team. They're not a team that can score on one play, on one long 65-yard run. That's their possession.
And here's another flag. Well after the play, Althoff Catholic has committed 10 penalties for 90 yards already. This might put them into triple-digit territory.
That ball is sportsmanlike. Number 3 on the defense. 15-yard penalty.
That's against Drake Mosley. 4 personal fouls. And Drake owning it. So I think he's waving goodbye, right? Just a little wave to the Lena-Winslow sideline.
Let me give a shout out to the officials on this. Because what happens is you'll hear a lot of people saying, oh, let them play. You'll hear that in basketball, you hear that in football. That's not part of what the rules are. How do they learn anything? No, it's an infraction. Throw the flag, it's a penalty. And this is how young men learn. It's not let them play. If they don't do it right, penalize them.
And on 4th and 1, Wild was stuffed. That penalty is not an automatic first down, hence the 4th and short. And I think we're going to measure. Althoff thinks they stopped him. And I think they'll bring out the chain gang. We've played 3 quarters, no chain gang. Here they come.
They might walk out there a little rickety from not getting a lot of movement.
Yeah, they might be frozen. Wind chill of 4 degrees down there, and here comes the chain.
Getting back to that comment about the officials, you got to give the officials a lot of credit for doing a great job, which they have. And all these officials that we have down here for this weekend have earned the right to come down here. They've had great seasons calling their games and doing the officiating and the rules.
It's a first down by a paper. Yeah, you're right, Jack. This officiating crew golden today. Mark DiMarzio leading them. Mike Wiley, Kent Holsupple, Aaron Eisfelder, and Seth DiMarzio. The 1A officiating crew announcing a 1st and 10 for Lena-Winslow.
Get the idea sometimes that people, will yell at the officials or this call or that call. Keep in mind, if there's no officials, we don't have any games.
That's a great point. No officials, no football for you. And officials make another call right before the Lena-Winslow snap. They've been extremely active today. Between the two teams, 14 penalties. Although, looks like no penalty.
Yeah, the officials might have said something about a mouthpiece or something along those lines.
It was to allow for the sub. William Schaefer came on as Wild goes to work and not much happening. Lena-Winslow averages almost 400 rushing yards per game, and today 206.
And those are 206 yards of very tough yardage. I've been impressed with Althoff's defense. I mean, obviously they're very explosive offensively, but they play really tough defense. Part of that is that you've got 11 guys inside 5 yards, so it gives them an opportunity to play. You don't spread them out too much.
Well, they've held a team that scores 40 a game to just 14 so far. And again, stuffed at the line. Schlichting, no room. Althoff Catholic, 3-time state title winner. 1980, 89, and 90, all under the legendary head coach Glenn Schott, who coached Austin Frazier when Austin was a student. And now a couple of generations later, Austin the head coach and has his team on the verge of state title number 4. Third and 8. 2-down territory as Schlichting takes the toss. And Schlichting is mowed over by Mosley.
Just a great job by Mosley. Now, we talk about the size of the offensive lineman. Watch the speed that he has, number 3. He's 225 pounds. And he's coming up inside there. He knows it's got to be turned up towards the inside. The corner comes up, forces the ball up inside. But the speed that he has at 6'2", 225 is amazing.
225. Light on his feet. So now it's 4th down for the game. And a punt. Aiden Wild sends punt number 5 out of bounds around the 10. So we'll step aside with 8:34. And Althoff Catholic 0-2 in their last 2 title games. Sitting pretty today.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can know, from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
All right, let's go. I'll shop for the kids and you get something for the dog.
Sounds good. Let's do this.
Whether you're shopping for gifts or something for yourself.
Don't forget toys for the dog.
Rush in for Black Friday deals at Menards that everyone will love. Because when they're gone, they're gone.
Save big money at Menards.
Jason Dowell, 6'4", almost 300 pounds. He'll play SEC football next year at Missouri. And Jack, I know he's been a treat to watch.
He really has been. He's all over the field for a 288-pounder. And the big thing is he's a wrestler, which I love. I mean, he's 6'4". He gets around. Can you imagine him on the mat when he's so confined to something? But he's just been so impressive going up and down the line of scrimmage from that nose, and he plays over the center because he's got 2 gaps to cover between the 2 guards. He's just really active. He basically ties up 3 offensive linemen with his quickness and his size, and he's had several sacks today.
I would not mess with him on the mat. No, thank you. So Jason Dowell on the verge of his state championship.
Nor would I cut in line in front of him at a buffet.
1 sack, 1 tackle for loss today. 6 tackles for 0 in white as his offense goes to work. And here's De'Aaron Hill, just so patient. Look at that cutback. And now look at the speed. Galloping his way, shoving his way to the 40.
Is it justified to say right now it's almost like men against boys from the standpoint of a man right there against boys, the way he's playing? I'm not trying to be demeaning by that. It's just that he just has his way. There's no way that play should have gone where it has gone.
I feel like I'm watching a Big Ten football player against high school kids.
Yeah, you are.
He's headed to Oregon next fall as one of his linemen falls. And Jordan Wright, who already, Casey was telling us, was being checked on earlier in the game, is down again.
You know, it's crazy to say with the temperature that it is, but that could be a cramp. Because sometimes a lot of these young players, they don't hydrate. They think, well, it's 5 above or 5 below or whatever, but they're not hydrating.
Right, so you end up more dehydrated. It looks like a cramp, right? The way they're treating his calf.
Yeah, you can see the stiffness of it. That's a cramp right there.
Doesn't matter if it's hot or cold, kids. Hydrate. Water.
I should never have dropped out of med school. I mean, how could I see that from this far up? It's amazing.
Yeah, Jack, that was amazing. I gotta say, you looked at that, you said cramp, and looks like he just needs a few moments. Want to go back to med school?
No, I'm having more fun up here with you.
You could teach the class.
Right.
.499 yards of total offense for Althoff. And make it 500 and a few more. The numbers are gaudy, but the only number that will matter tonight for Althoff Catholic is a state championship, which, if they're able to secure it, would be number 4 in program history and the first one since 1990.
Interesting statistic about this. Hill, coming into this ball game, had almost a 3-yard average of touchdowns. He's almost averaged 3 touchdowns a game over the 13 games that they've played.
Just ridiculous. And here he goes again. A huge burst for Hill. And deep into Lena-Winslow territory. An 18-yard gain for Hill. He won the Gatorade State Player of the Year award last year and is significantly better as a senior.
His feet are really impressive. What I mean by that is not his shoe size, but how quick he is, how he cuts back against the grain and then turns that speed on. Right there, perfect example.
6 touchdowns today. Remember, the 1A state title game record is 7, so I think he might be sniffing that.
Well, he had 5 last week in the semis, and he's holding off until the big state championship game that surpassed that.
I saw 321 and 5 touchdowns in the semifinal, and I thought, wow, that's crazy. But, of course, the numbers will take a little dip against a team like Lena. And today he's got 379 on the ground and 5. It's a new record for rushing yards in a game in the 1A state title game. A record. And here's a pass down the left sideline. It is caught. And down to the 1 goes Logan Thompson.
Unbelievable. I don't get this stuff.
And he got a flag. A 5th personal foul for Althoff.
You know what this is, Sam? It's just watching too much Sunday afternoon television with these kids. There's just absolutely no reason for any of these gaudy movements after you catch a pass. Catch a pass, get back in the huddle.
That's
simple
a
as
freshman.
that.
And he was smacking his helmet. A little showboating, and it'll earn him a personal foul.
Double men downfield against offense. Head ball foul, unsportsmanlike, number 13 on offense. Both penalties will be assessed.
Oh, so 2 penalties, not just the unsportsmanlike, but also a lineman downfield, which will turn a 1st and goal at the 1 into a 2nd down towards midfield.
Great catch. And leave it at that. Great catch. Good concentration. See, there's no reason for that kind of nonsense. Absolutely no reason.
A freshman who will learn his lesson, and unbelievably, instead of 1st and goal at the 1, Althoff's at their own 45. So they have to walk back 54 yards. And 2nd and forever.
2 things here. I'm really happy the officials called that play and that penalty, and I'm really happy that coach took him out of the game.
You would have done the same.
Absolutely the same.
A freshman who will learn. And with just a second to spare, the snap, and here's Hill. Oh, a little dance. He'll turn them all around. Hill. A truck, another one, and a nice little chunk.
A play that was going absolutely nowhere. It's going to be a loss until he cut it back.
So 389 yards on the ground for Hill. Again, no one in the history of the Class 1A state title game has ever had more. One more touchdown, and he's got that record too, but to the sideline he goes. 3rd and 16. Approaching, but I think Althoff's going to call time here. So first time out of the half for Althoff. Deere Hill catching his breath. I would too. He's run a lot today.
I'm getting tired just watching him.
It is kind of exhausting. Deere Hill Jr., the 4-star recruit bound for Oregon, has Althoff bound for a state title. We thought this game would be tight, razor tight.
Well, you know, we see Oregon, you know, they're #1 team in the country, and they're recruiting him, and you can see that kind of the comparison, what kind of a player he is going to the #1 team in the country. Now, later on, tomorrow, you'll see in the Geneva game a young player that's going to the University of Georgia. So you get kind of an idea of who these people are recruiting. How good are the athletes to be going to these type of schools? You know, you talk about going to the Southeast Conference or the Big Ten. You got to be a pretty good football player, not just a good high school player, but they see the development down the road as they mature, getting more size, they get in the weight room longer, and it's a full-time job basically playing football in college. They're going to get awful big and awful good.
Yeah, they're even getting paid now. Full-time job.
Exactly.
SEC, Big Ten, these are the best recruits in the country as Ellington airs it out. Deep. Caught. Touchdown. My goodness. The machine just keeps on moving. Kylan Jordan on a 45-yard score that is brought to you by the Southern Illinois University Carbondale campus. Imagine the possibilities.
Well, that might have been an appeasement to Jayden Ellington, because it's been a run game the entire time, and most of the season it's been a balanced attack because he averages about 12 throws a game. And just a pretty good play action right here. They've been trying to stop the pass. He's just running a vertical route. He just beats the defensive back. The ball is extremely well thrown. And there was nothing to the route except just run down the field and outrun the defender.
And Ellington today, 3 completions, 2 touchdowns, and a $138 through the air. They'll go for 2 for the second straight time, and here goes Hill into a familiar place, the end zone. Althoff wanted 50, and they got it. 6 plays, 87 yards in 3 minutes, 11 seconds, and state title game mastery. Althoff Catholic can smell it.
Coughing and throat feeling sore? We've got medication to get you out the door. Earache, pink eye, bug bite, or rash? Our wonderful staff will treat you in a flash.
What about sprains, strains, and minor fractures too?
Don't worry, our x-rays reveal what's hidden from view. Need care after 9, 10, or 11? Our virtual care's got you 24/7. OSF on-call urgent care, in person or virtual, we're always there.
We're going to need more fuel. A renewable way to get that fuel instead of relying on foreign countries for petroleum, we can just grow our own fuel. Our fields are literally full of energy.
The IHSA Football State Championships are brought to you in part by Country Financial. Worry less and feel more confident with insurance designed to meet your specific needs. Visit countryfinancial.com to experience more today.
It's the coldest Illinois State Championship weekend in recent memory. About 5 degrees is the wind chill down there, and Althoff Catholic looking to keep themselves warm by running all over the place. 443 rushing yards, 50 points, and state championship number 4 is on the horizon. We'll take a look at our schedule for the rest of the day with Maroa Forsyth and Chicago Christian coming up next, followed by 3A and 4A. You'll see the full schedule soon. By the way, great note here from our stats man, Nick Pinto. So, De'Air Hill has accounted for 40 points today, with 6 touchdowns, 2 two-point conversions, equals 40 points. No player in any Illinois State title game ever has accounted for that many points. A new record.
And we were here to witness it. You know, you look at the score and you say, oh, man, what kind of a ball game has this been? It's exciting when you see players like this and the offense that Althoff has. It's a very exciting ball game. It's well worth the point of keeping it stay tuned because of what they can do at any particular time. Forget the scoreboard. Just watch the game and see these kind of players. It's amazing.
You've covered decades worth of Illinois State title games. Where does De'Air Hill's performance rank?
Right up
the
there.
Pantheon?
This is my 37th year of doing the state championship games, and I'll tell you what, he is right there in the top 3.
That says a lot.
Another flag.
And another flag comes in well after the play, sort of near the Althoff sideline as we peek ahead at the promised schedule. A good one at the nightcap, too. Mount Zion and DePaul College Prep, formerly Gordon Tech.
Against receiving team. 15-yard penalty, your first down.
So it's a Lena-Winslow personal foul this time. Just their 4th penalty as a team. So a bit more discipline, but that's about all they can write home about today. Lena-Winslow was behind the 8 ball from the start. 69-yard touchdown in the opening minutes by De'Air Hill. Pretty much told the story of what this day would amount to. And another flag. The 19th penalty thrown by this crew.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
You know, we had a good shot there of Coach Aaron from Lena-Winslow. What a fantastic career he has had at Lena. 28 years as the head coach. There's a good shot of Rick right there. With 260 wins and 67 losses. Again, doing the math in my head, I think that's like 9 wins a year to 2 losses over a period of 28 years. That's just amazing. With 6 titles and 1 second-place finish. Just an incredible career.
Almost as incredible as your math skills as more flags fly. 2 men in motion at the same time for Lena-Winslow. That'll set him back another 5. Yeah, Rick Ahrens has coached 3 decades of football, and this has got to be one of the more frustrating finishes to a season as the penalty is issued. You mentioned all the winning, Jack. I mean, 4 losses this decade for Lena-Winslow.
It's amazing program. Very consistent. You know, the community is behind them. Sons and fathers and uncles all have played in the program. And I mean, it's just a continuing success in the community.
They have owned 1A football since the turn of the century, and Althoff Catholic knows it. We spoke with Austin Frazier, and he said, I know who these guys are. I mean, Lena-Winslow is the class of 1A in the state of Illinois. So we're going to have an underdog mentality. But today they have wiped it clean.
I'm always impressed with the smaller schools, 1A and 2A. They have so many players. Not the case of Althoff. I mean, they more platoon. But with Lena and some of the teams we'll see in 2A, like, for example, Chicago Christian, they have 10 players going both ways. And it's amazing to see the conditioning of these young athletes. And that's the way it used to be before they had these conditioning programs.
Up the middle, just a gain of 2. It's hard to imagine playing, especially in the elements, in a huge game like this on one side of the ball, but then play every single snap. It's incredible conditioning.
Well, you know, the other part that's interesting, Sam, is the fact that a lot of these smaller schools play younger players. I mean, you'll see a lot of sophomores on these teams, and then occasionally a freshman or 2. And, you know, it's just the nature of the beast. They have smaller enrollments. They don't get that many kids out for football, and so they have to deal with those kind of numbers.
Wild for a couple in what might be Lena-Winslow's final possession of the game. And believe us, Lena-Winslow will be back. Alex Schlichting, star running back, a junior. Aiden Wild, standout fullback, junior. The quarterback, Lessman, junior. You've only got 2 seniors on the offensive line, so this offensive machine, they will be back.
2 sophomores on that offensive line and a junior. Both tight ends are juniors. Young team, very young team.
Wild 6th punt out of bounds, and it's a little different story on the Althoff offensive side, where Dier Hill Jr., who set the Illinois championship game record today for points, is a senior. He'll graduate, he'll head to Oregon, but he will do it as an Illinois state champion, which is only 255 from becoming official.
And those memories last a lifetime.
And you speak from experience.
Yeah, it's just something that and what's interesting is, as the reunions occur, 10-year reunion, 20-year reunion, all of a sudden so much of this is embellished. You know, how long a kid played, how long was this run, how long was that punt, how many tackles he made, how many sacks he had. It's amazing.
You don't need to embellish much with Dier Hill, and that water is ice cold. Austin Frazier getting a soak, and now we'll have to stand out there freezing and wet for another 3 minutes. Here goes Hill, who's still in there. Hill gets a couple of yards. I don't know about you. If I'm Austin Frazier, I'm saying, why'd you soak me with 3 minutes to go?
Well, he won't even think about it. Plus, he's in shorts. So what does that tell you?
Oh,
that probably cooled him off.
I'd be fully hypothermic. A celebration with his Missouri-bound D lineman, Jason Dowell. Austin Frazier, an alum of this program, watches his man go again. Number 7 for Hill, a new state title game record. Hill Jr. owns the record book and soon will own a trophy.
Just great speed right there. Just pops through the line of scrimmage, beats the linebackers, and off he goes.
49 yards to the house in what could be his final college or his final high school run. What a way to cap it off. You always want to finish strong. How about finishing your career with a 49-yard touchdown run? And a state title about to become official. It's a 40-plus point lead, so we're in running clock territory for the final 2:06.
Historic ball game. There's the graphic
history
right there. Unbelievable. Plus the yardage he's got to go along with that is amazing.
438 rushing yards.
Here's the
80
cutback.
Reception yards.
There's just a little cutback, Sam, and then he turns on that speed. And he's been doing this all day long. What an amazing effort in the state championship game. What I like about him, he's very humble. Here's the cut. Just right there was just a little cut, and then all of a sudden it's the speed. Nobody can take the proper angle on him. In the end zone, he goes for the 7th time today.
518 yards of Hill. 7 touchdowns. On the Mount Rushmore of Illinois State Championship performances as Rakowska rockets down for a nice little return. With a running clock. And for Lena-Winslow, their first loss of the season will drop a very successful year for Rick Aaron's team. As we take a look at the Menards play of the game, the 49-yard touchdown into the history books for Hill. You can save big money on all your home improvement needs. And Althoff calls timeout. Want to settle things for the final 125. Austin Frazier, a 2004 alum of Althoff Catholic, is about to lead him to a state championship in just his 5th season.
Yeah, that's been an amazing day. The other part for this timeout is, for both teams, is probably to do some substitutions, making sure that they're organized. They got the right amount of people in there at the right positions. Certainly get some of those seniors in that have not played. That's what you want to do in a situation like that. Get the seniors in the game, even if it's for one play, because 10 years from now, they would have been in the game for the entire ball game when it comes to reunions. And to me, it's special. If they gave you 4 years in the program, you want to get them in the game, even if it's for one play. Get them in the state championship game.
You talk about how the memories last a lifetime and the reunions, everything's embellished. There's one guy who doesn't have to embellish. Hill can say, hey, 500 yards, 7 touchdowns. Look at the book.
He won't be saying anything. It's all his teammates will be talking about him. Do you remember what he did in the state championship game? That's what they'll be talking about.
Oh, rushed for 800 yards.
And they might be saying, if he has a great career at Oregon, I played high school football with him.
Well, if today is a little sneak peek, he's going to have a nice little career. Big Ten football's up next for Hill. And his Oregon Duck resume will start with Illinois State Champion.
Do we have the stat on he has 518 yards of rushing? How many carries?
So 518 of total offense. 438 on the ground, 32 carries. That's almost 14 yards a carry. Did the math in my head.
Very good. I like it.
So 45 seconds. And Lena-Winslow will run it out. They take loss number 1. And for the 2nd straight year, Lena-Winslow falls in the state championship game. You know Rick Aaron's Panthers will be hungry next year, as Austin Frazier's Crusaders are just hungry to celebrate. It's been 34 years since Althoff Catholic High School could call themselves champions of Illinois. And behind a record-shattering performance, Althoff Catholic, Illinois, state champions.
Quite a show he's put on today. Quite a show for that entire team. Combination of seeing a great football player, an outstanding offensive line to get him to that point, and a young Lena team that we'll probably see here next year based on their schedule and based on how much youth they had on their roster today and how many starters they had coming back. They'll be back here.
Lena-Winslow, see you maybe same time, same place next year. Althoff Catholic adding championship number 4, 1980, 89, 90, and now 2024. With a master class of a performance, the Crusaders of Althoff Catholic, state champs, interviews, trophy ceremony, and more up next.
The IHSA Football State Championships are brought to you in part by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. And by SIU Carbondale. Imagine the possibilities.
You know what it's like to watch a winning team. Now it's your turn to be a part of one. The Illinois State Police is recruiting for our next cadet classes, and you could be our MVP. Protect the public, help those in need, and make a lasting impact in your community. Our mission, your future, higher purpose, higher pay. Starting pay is at $90,000 with incredible benefits package, including a take-home squad car, tuition reimbursement, paid leave, and more. Join the team that makes a difference. Apply today at IllinoisTrooper.com.
Attention high school students. If you're tired of hearing the same old college debt story, we've got an exciting alternative for you. Join the Mid-America Carpenters Union and let your career dreams take flight. You can earn great pay, enjoy no-cost health insurance, and secure a stable retirement, all with no college debt and an elite career that's here to stay. It's time to build your future your way. Ready to carve your path to success? Contact the Mid-America Carpenters Union today to learn how you can unleash your potential.
Epic Black Friday deals at Menards are back. Pick up this 12-volt cordless drill kit for only $9.99. Get a dual-head LED work light with tripod for just $14.99. Secure big savings on a 4-pack ratchet strap set, now just $4.97. Or snag these giant 54-inch snow tubes for only $9.99 each. Hurry in for best selection. Don't miss out. These deals won't last long.
Save big money at Menards.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you could know from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of silly views. Capture this moment and go forward together.
Welcome back to the IHSA Class 1A State Championship, and we are here with our winner, Althoff Catholic head coach Austin Frazier. Coach, first of all, your defense. You held the team that scores nearly 40 points a game to just 14. How much pride do you have in them today?
Yeah, really happy with the overall execution of our boys. You know, it's playing two teams with similar offensive structures in 2 weeks. Really good group in Lena. Our guys just were really detailed and disciplined in their individual efforts and showed on the field today.
Young man over there, 7 touchdowns. That's a record for him. The most by any player in any class in the state championship game, the most touchdowns for him. What do games like this tell you about him?
Well, I've seen a lot of good backs. I saw Kyron Williams. I coached against him. There's been a lot of guys. There's no better back that I've ever seen in my life than De'Aaron Hill Jr. And I think that was just on display today. I see all this special stuff all the time. So, today was a Friday for me, right? But, a lot of people got to see what he can do. And, I mean, it's truly, he's the best player in the state. It's not a question. He'll get it again. And, he's family to me, Deer is, and I love him to death. I'm very proud.
Speaking of family, you wanted to win this one in front of your former head coach, Coach Schott, in front of your family, in front of your friends. What does it mean to you to bring a state title back to Belleville Althoff for the first time in 34 years?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. As an alumni, as somebody that's their goal, seeing a lot of alumni in the crowd and family and friends, and thinking about Coach Schott. Yeah, I mean, this has been a dream of mine since I was a kid. So this achievement, it's pretty special today.
Thank you so much, Coach. Congratulations. I'm going to bring in Dier right now. The man of the hour, Dier Hill Jr. Dier, 7 touchdowns. That's a record, my friend. What got into you today?
Honestly, I'm just so focused for this game in this moment. Just the biggest game of my career so far. And I was just driven by my teammates and just driven by the state championship here, and we knew we had to get it. So I was just eager to get this.
Speaking of your teammates, I saw after that 7th touchdown, Jason Dowell, some of your teammates coming up, very emotional, crying. What were they saying to you?
We did it, D. We finally did it. They got me the record. It's really just a brotherhood, honestly. I would lay my life on the line for these guys out here. I really would. Just us sticking together, honestly. We just sharing this moment because we talked about it through the whole season, and to finally just accomplish our mission is just everything to us. So it just brought a lot of emotions to all of us.
I want you to enjoy this moment, but obviously the news around you heading to Oregon next year is a big deal. You go there with a state championship under your belt. You're leaving number 1 for number 1. How about that for momentum?
Honestly, it's the best feeling you ever could have had. Honestly, I was with them before they were number 1, so I really feel that's very special to me because I trust in their program and the community they have out there, so it'll be nothing for me as well. I'm just so blessed to be in this position I am right now.
Dier, congratulations and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Sam, I'll send it back to you.
Austin Frazier saying, this is just a Friday. I see this all the time, and now he'll see a state championship trophy. Let's send it to the public address to award the champs.
Now for presentation of the second place awards to Lena-Winslow. On hand today, Superintendent Tom Childs, Principal Ann Dizelle, Athletic Director Ryan Honey, and Coach Rick Arend. Along with the captains of runner-up Lena-Winslow, a special medallion will be presented to the administrators, and individual awards will be presented to Coach Arend and his team captains. And now the second place trophy will be presented to the Panthers of Lena-Winslow, who finished the season with a final record of 13 wins and 1 loss. And now for the presentation of the Class 1A State Championship to Belleville Althoff, represented by Principal Skip Birdsong, Athletic Director Kathy Wooler, Coach Austin Frazier, and the captains of the champion Crusaders. A special medallion will be presented to the administrators, and individual awards will be presented to Coach Frazier and his team captains. And now this year's state championship Class 1A team trophy will be presented to the Crusaders of Althoff, who finished the season with a final record of 14 wins and no losses.
So Althoff Catholic with championship number 4 and a record-shattering performance. Final thoughts from you, Jack?
Well, I've never seen, I shouldn't say never because I've done East St. Louis several times, but a team with such explosive firepower. And that comes down to, obviously, to Hill, but they were just amazing. I mean, we saw all these records today, and all those points put up on the board, but he's just a special running back, a very special team. And Glenn Schott, I'm sure, who was the former head coach here years ago, was very proud of this state championship team.
First in 34 years for Althoff Catholic as the Crusaders are champs. And now let's head to the studio with Marshall Harris and Tim Edgy O'Halloran.
All right, Sam, Jack, thank you very much. Here in the studios, our IHSA Television Network studios in Chicago, we are done with one team getting crowned champion. We still got 3 more to go today, 7 more in total over the next 2 days. But what a performance. Over 600 yards of offense coming from Althoff Christian.
1A, that's a 1A team. That team can compete in 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A. Seriously. That is some tremendous talent on display. It goes back to last year when Althoff lost to Camp Point Central. That was a game that stunned the state, that they lost, and everyone saw this great talent. I guarantee you this team went back to work in the winter, back in the weight room. It definitely paid off today. And you knew that was a motivational factor for this team. They didn't get to the stage last year. They got it, and they took control and ran away with it.
Althoff Catholic, a record-breaking performance in getting the 1A state championship. We're back with highlights, statistics, and some of these records that are just hard to believe when we come back.
Ashley's Black Friday deals continue this weekend. Today through Monday, shop incredible doorbusters starting at just $1.99.